Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Retro Cinema. Wait. Just kidding. Thursday things.
I wish I could say last call, but that's tomorrow. I've got a whole nother day to get through.
Yeah, it's been a week for me, too, so I am fully looking forward to having an alcoholic beverage tomorrow after I get off work.
I get to get you drunk?
Well, I don't know if you'll get me drunk, but I'm definitely having alcoholic beverage.
You're a lightweight. I'll get you drunk with anything, any alcohol that I give you.
Well, only if you make the drink, because you're heavy-handed.
That is true.
Yeah, it's like we've had some things going on in my office where they decided to shift team members. So now I'm in not a different role, at least not yet, but I'm under
you're under a lot of stress is what you really
are. I'm under a different team. And it's like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this team? Because my role encompasses ABC. Am I still doing that? Or are you going to have me doing something else? And am I handing, what I'm doing off to somebody else? Blah, 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 blah. So there was tons of meetings today. It's just been a bear. So, and of course.
But now we're all here together. So now we can decompress.
So let me start by introducing, of course, my co-host, that guy at the end of the bar, Troy Pacelli. How you doing tonight, sweetie? And what are you sipping on?
I'm sipping on a Diet Dr. Pepper.
Are you almost done?
I'm about to finish it.
Let's see if there's anything left in here I can give you. Yes, there is. There you go.
This will have to get us through the stream, I think.
Yes, we are 4 feet apart. He's literally right in front of me. And that's our little side fridge.
And yes, it was a challenging day. Some personal stuff that was a bit nail bitery for me, but I am just looking forward to getting through another day so I can get to last call tomorrow.
Yeah, and of course, you know that Troy and Boomer got something planned for you for tomorrow night.
Yep.
And I just did something I didn't want to do. Give me one second.
Well, as long as you don't kick our guest out of the green room, that's all that matters.
No, I didn't want to put the StreamYard link into the chat.
Yeah, that would be bad too.
Oh, not necessarily.
Do you want me to start saying hi to people?
Oh, I'm there. Hold on. Okay. Let me scroll back up to the top of the chat. So first in was our guest, the Nostalgic Podblast, saying, see you soon.
And you will.
Soon. Followed by, my flock is everywhere. I checked out their channel. Connie Cleary. You two have a lot in common. Birds.
There you go.
Their channel is birds. And they have the prettiest pictures of birds on there. So
there you go.
You might want to check them out, Connie Cleary. And then, of course, we have Chance Acting Demo, which, that sounds familiar. I think it might be our guest.
Right? Exactly.
Danny Stanton, hello there. He says, I sub. Do you sub to me or you sub to Nostalgic Podblast?
I hope you sub to everybody.
Yes, I hope you do sub to everyone. I know that I try to sub to anyone that's new in my chat, and I have subbed to every single one of you. And I encourage the chat to do that as well. Because, like PJ always says, together we grow.
Yep.
Okay, then there's that netter person saying hi to everybody and their brother. And there's Connie Cleary saying hello to the chat. And FKHC 2005, also known as Tim, says, I've been by Reagan National Airport, seeing planes come and go, plus helicopters flying there. So President hasn't been. Oh, right. There was a plane crash. I heard about this afternoon. I don't know any of the details, but
I do see that the FAA is really being scrutinized over all of this. So that's the silver lining, I suppose.
And then we have Deleted Scenes giving his salute and like, share, and subscribe. And I know I saw other people's here. Evelyn Hampton, how you doing, Admiral?
Welcome.
Joshua V saying good evening.
Good evening.
H. Boomer, how you doing, Boomer?
Good to see you, buddy.
Jesse Guajardo, welcome. Trying not to make my chat jump as I'm scrolling. JPRPH1. Doing his Netters Networks emojis there. Thank you, sweetie. Let's see. Have I missed anyone? Sorry, I'm still scrolling. And I think I made it down to the bottom.
Awesome.
Hopefully I have not missed anyone. If I have, please let me know because I have to say hello to my sweeties. And of course, we've got a very special guest waiting in the green room that I want to introduce you to. The Nostalgic Podblast.
Yep.
If you think about it, he's talking about your past and all those nostalgic things that you remember, old TV shows and whatnot.
At least us old folks do.
So without further ado, let me bring in Chance with Nostalgic Podblast. How you doing, sweetie? And what are you sipping on?
Good evening. I am sipping on some spring water.
Awesome. That sounds great.
And,
is it locally sourced down there in, is it Atlanta?
Blue Ridge, in the Blue Ridge Mountains in the state of Georgia. Far north of me, but in our state of Georgia.
Yes, indeed.
Hey to the chat, too. It's all about our past with my channel, and I go live every Friday night, most Friday nights, and talk nostalgia. Plus, I play movies, copyright God's willing, and I'm into video games, and I'm just a big old nerd. A big old nerd is me. Chance Bartels, your nostalgia.
First thing I want to call out, and I want everyone to take a close look, right just over his head. Well, yes, that's a Playboy, but next to the Playboy is Superman. I had that. I may still have that magazine somewhere, but I remember that magazine. We just did a watch party on Monday of a fan edit of Superman 3 and 4 called Superman Redeemed. It takes the best parts of both of those movies, and let me tell you, I loved it. In fact, I think the chat did too, because I think it really did a great job of getting rid of the schlock and kind of Donnering it up a little bit. You know, I say that because Donner was all about verisimilitude, and I felt like it brought the verisimilitude back to 3 and 4. But you know a thing or two about movies, don't you, my friend?
Yeah, and I like Mark Pillow as Nuclear Man. There's so much that we have not seen that was left on the cutting room floor, as you well know, of Superman 4 specifically. Hopefully one day we will finally see that, just like the Donner cut of 2006. We never thought we'd see that lost footage of Marlon Brando, but we did. Yeah. Thanks to the fans. There was a message board, Superman Cinema out of England, a guy named Darmish had that running like in the late 90s, early 2000s. Up until about when Superman Returns was released in, what was it, 06? Mm-hmm. And we were all clamoring to see that footage. And so was Jim Bowers, capedwonder.com. I knew him briefly when he lived in the Atlanta, Georgia area. He has a great podcast about the Chris Reeve Superman movies. But I think that's cool. And Superman 3 had some cool moments. Let's face it. You know, the evil Clark Kent with the nicotine created in part kryptonite, man-made kryptonite.
Yes.
That Ross Webster funded, that August Gorman created. And I loved of course, the robot that gave me nightmares as a kid, Vera, the Vera robot.
That was supposed to have been Brainiac, but that didn't quite come to fruition. Yes, in fact, I was sharing, as we were talking about Superman 3 and 4 during the stream, I pointed out that was the first. There's a lot of things that came out of those Chris Reeve movies that ended up in the comics then. For example, the whole concept of that crystalline lattice structure for the Fortress of Solitude, that greenish black kryptonite that Gus Gorman gives him eventually makes it back into the comics as black kryptonite. Which was whenever you try to create artificial kryptonite or overheat kryptonite, it has this ability to split. I think in this case it was Supergirl into an evil and a good version.
Yes.
Then they brought it into Smallville, and it happened in Smallville as well. But yeah, these things kind of happen. But you mentioned Jim Bauer. Met him a number of times in Metropolis, Illinois.
Right.
Great guy. And I know about his site and his podcast too. But
and outside of Mr. Hambrick, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, the proprietor of the museum there. Yeah,
Passed away. His daughter's taken over, but I'm so sad that he passed away. Oh well.
Oh, I did not even know that. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
we met
recent.
his daughter too. Oh gosh, it had to have been about. When was the last time we were there? It was almost 10 years ago. My gosh, time just goes so fast.
Keep looking. I have a Superman 3 DC Comics adaptation behind me, and I was trying to find it. It's got a cool cover.
I was telling the folks about that too. I was basically saying that that comic book adaptation did basically what that fan edit did. It stripped out a lot of the really goofy I don't know what you'd say, goofy schlock, and brought it down. There it is. Took it down to its minimum,
do the
story.
Solo layout. There we go.
There you go. Yeah.
Wait, let me get rid of that. There we go. Now we can see it.
Do you know, was there a variant cover for that?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't think there was.
Because, I thought I had that one as well. Yeah.
There you go.
Cool.
Okay, honey, you have to unbigify.
Oh, okay. I'll let me, there we go. Nope, not that way. That way.
But, I wondered when I got this recently in an acquisition. I bought a collection from someone, and it was like, I want to say it was like 17 long boxes. There's like 5,000 comics, and this was one of the comics in there. So I never had this as a youth. And I thought, how are they going to illustrate for kids the whole Lorelei Ambrosia bit with evil Superman? But they did. But of course, that's a sexy scene.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That is true. You're absolutely right. But yeah, they did. I thought they did a great job with that. They kind of made it fit a little bit better. And now I'm guessing you must have gotten the Superman. What was it? Superman 77 series they did.
Yeah.
That follow up. Yeah, that was some great stuff. It was nice to revisit that universe.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up this comment. Keebler Danger, no sugarcoating truth. Evening Netters Network. Chance sent me. I'm his biggest fan and favorite stalker.
There you go. You've got stalkers. Let's get back to that. So give us a little bit of background, Chance. You are an actor. You've been working in the business. Tell us.
I studied theater in college. My first play was playing Ebenezer Scrooge in 5th grade. And I just got the acting bug from there and did a play in college, Carnival. And then there were tax incentives here in my state of Georgia that brought Hollywood here. So starting in April of 2010, I just started doing background extra work just to observe what the crew does and try to get my foot in the door. And then I stopped in 2013. I got an agent and they said, you can't do background work anymore. And I auditioned for speaking principal parts. Did a few principal roles, and I had some cool things that I got to do in movies too, even as like a featured background person, like in the movie Lawless with Tom Hardy. I tarred and feathered a bootlegger. That's a pretty cool Miramax movie if you're not familiar with it. Shia LaBeouf's in it. Tom Hardy, Jessica Chastain. It's a period piece about the Prohibition days, and it's based on a book, The Wettest County in the World, and it's about the Darabont brothers who are making moonshine. And I play Guy Pearce's character's henchman. He plays Charlie Rakes, who is a sadistic lawman. And he orders me to tar and feather this poor guy they caught in the woods making moonshine, and I torture the guy. So,
you're the baddie in that one.
I'm the bad guy in that, and that was a great experience working on that film. John Hillcoat directed it. He's an Australian director, and just a wonderful movie if you've not seen it. So anyway, that's my deal. And my agent retired. So now I'm kind of back to square one. So I'm doing other background and featured background stuff. And, I haven't really actively tried to get an agent. I worked in radio, by the way, for 5 years for Cumulus Media. A lot of people don't like Cumulus because they did buy out a lot of independent radio stations all over the country, and they kind of ruined radio. But I work for them as an ad executive, and I met a lot of production people, and I created a show called The Nostalgic Podblast. And after I left Cumulus, I went to WTZA, and the owner of that station let me put my station on the air, my show rather, on the air, 50,000 watt AM station, WTZA, 10:10 a.m. Atlanta on the weekend, 2-hour time slot. And did that very briefly because COVID took out that station, unfortunately. All of our advertisers pulled out, and So I said, you know what? I'm just going to keep rolling as a podcast. And I started my YouTube channel, The Nostalgic Podblast, in July of 2020, about almost 5 years ago. And I started the show on June 15th, 2019 is when The Nostalgic Podblast was born. That's my story. And also in terms of comic books, any comic book people out there that know about the Angry Girlfriend variant, look it up. There's a new article about it.
Yep.
That was my book that got ruined by someone. I don't want to go into too much detail about that. And one thing I do like to point out every chance I get, no pun intended, my name's Chance Bartels. I actually created a Marvel character, Madcap. When I was a kid, I mailed it into Marvel. Holy cow, they were with my headphones. Scared the heck out of me. It's almost like someone's telling me don't tell that story, but it's true. I had the Marvel tryout book. I'll show you for visual aid. This was a promotion in the early 1980s. I was a teenager, early teenager, and they encouraged you to submit either artwork or writing or penciling, inking, lettering, whatever you want to do, whatever your forte was in comic books. Look, it's just like Uncle Sam. We want you. Marvel wants you to encourage you to send in submissions, which I did. And I sent in a character I called Happy, who was a character who could drive people insane by staring at them. And he was a demented happy face. He was yellow with purple costume. And I submitted it and heard nothing back. And they had ads, full page ads in Marvel Comics saying, keep the ideas coming. You'll be treated just like a Marvel creator, all the benefits, blah, blah, blah. Never heard a word. Then all of a sudden, my buddies and I are shocked to see my character in Captain America issue 307, I believe, issue 307 in early 1985. I sent this in late 1984, and I did a full page drawing synopsis of what the character could do in terms of driving people insane. And when they first introduced him in that first issue, he needed a gun to drive people insane. And then in his second appearance, 2 issues later, the gun breaks and the person he's trying to drive insane says, "Oh, your gun's broken. You can't hurt me." And then Madcap, really happy, is what I called him. They renamed him Madcap. Said, "Oh, the gun? I don't need the gun. I can just look at you," or words to that effect. I'm like, man, they still told my parents. I was like 13, 14 at the time. And they said, well, imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery. I was a minor. And believe me, I let it go. My friend Danny, who witnessed this, he's more fired about this than I am, because now he goes into Walmart, he'll see a Madcap coffee mug and he'll text me an image of it and say, "Look, Chance, this is your guy. This is your creation." And I did talk to an entertainment or a copyright. What was it? An attorney that specializes in copyright. And he says, there's a statute of limitations, but since you were a minor, we could probably get around that, but I'm not the suing kind. I let it go. And
I would almost bet though that when you sent it in, there was probably something you had to sign that was the equivalent of a release. I'll bet you.
I didn't sign anything. I just sent in, and I'll show you the ad.
Although he's right, you were a minor at the time, so it doesn't make you sign something. That's
correct.
But I'll tell you, that funky Flash man, I'm sorry. I know everybody loves him, but I can't stand him. You've got to be feeling a little portion of what Jack Kirby did and so many others.
Yeah.
That's right.
Pardo has Nostalgia Podblast. Are there any TV shows or series from the 90s that you miss?
From the 90s. Oh, gosh.
Can we be nostalgic about something that recent? I guess it's not that recent. We're talking 20-some years ago.
Seems recent.
You know what? You're gonna take my man card away. I kind of like Charmed. I kind of like Beverly Hills 90210.
We have all of them on DVD, so I'll lose my card right along with you on that one.
Yeah, I was never into Baywatch, from the 90s. Not really. God, I have to think on that. I guess King of the Hill's not really 90s. That's like early 2000s, maybe late 90s. And that I loved that show, and that lasted well beyond the 90s. But I loved King of the Hill. Let me think on that and get back to you, because my wheelhouse is the 80s and 70s in terms of the nostalgia.
Right.
I love watching Show, by the way, when you're talking about Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock recently. That's how I discovered your channel. It just showed up on my feed, and I loved what you were saying about that film. What a great movie with Christopher Lloyd, playing the Vulcan. Anyway, I don't want to digress. But.
Well, One of the jokes that a lot of the Star Trek people used to make back at the conventions, they'd go up and do their Star Trek impressions, and they would do Doc Brown as Commander Krug. So y'all won't give me the Genesis device. Okie dokie.
Now, on your channel, you talk about different shows from the past, and I saw you had several listed, like Bionic Woman, Alice, Eight is Enough, those ones. What is your favorite blast from the past TV show?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Well, I have one probably no one in your audience has heard of that I've been putting on my channel because it's in public domain. It's called The Space Giants, and it is a Japanese show like Ultraman. It's from 1966 to 1967. It's about an alien
invasion. And he blew the whistle, yes!
Right? I have all 52 episodes. I have on 16. Oh, I haven't mentioned yet, I'm a huge reel-to-reel film collector. I have a lot of stuff on film.
Wow,
you can't find anywhere else.
God.
Cigarette commercials, things that have been banned. And I have a lot of Space Giants material that I converted digitally that I'm putting on my channel. And thank gosh it's in the public domain. There's no like copyright issues.
Yeah.
And so I have so far put the first 32 episodes of 52 up, and there's a definite ending to the storyline. It's like a soap opera for kids. There were giant monsters. It's like Godzilla. There's giant monsters. An alien named Rodak is trying to take over the Earth. He collects planets like Galactus in the Fantastic Four devours worlds, except he collects them. And that's got to be one of my favorite, because just running home after school, watching it here in Atlanta on WTCG, which became WTBS Superstation 17, Ted Turner station. Watching that show after school, like at 3 o'clock, 3:30, I loved it, and it always stuck with me.
Dude, you and I have chewed some of the same ground as far as the shows we love, because I used to watch that show all the time, and I wanted one of those whistles, you know, because what was it? He'd blow it once to get his buddy to show up, twice to get the mom to show up, and then 3 times when like Godzilla had been released and you needed dad to come protect them from the monster.
That's right. Goldar. That was the third whistle, 3 whistles.
That's right.
Yeah, it's like behind me, those are DVDs.
Yeah.
We own over 1,000.
Yeah, we have a lot of DVDs. Yeah.
Yeah, own physical media.
Absolutely.
Oh, we are definitely we are cousins. You and I, us three, we are cousins. Do you collect 4K and Blu-ray or just DVD or all of that stuff?
You know what? I've been very slow to change formats. Started to get into Blu-ray whenever I'd run into something that I couldn't find on DVD, which has been happening more and more, obviously. Yeah. Don't have anything to play 4K on yet. So
okay.
That's the only 4Ks that I have are the ones where it's like a DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, set, but
a lot of cool comments are coming, and I can see on the screen. It is like the Power Rangers. That's a great, I would say it was the Space Giants. Would you not agree? It's like the precursor to the Transformers and the Power Rangers all rolled into one.
Kind of. Yeah. Because what you had these 3 robots. 2 were more humanoid looking than the giant one was. And they would, in that very Japanese style of cutscene, back, forth, they'd fold themselves up into a rocket to get to wherever they had to get to. And then when they got there, they'd unfold, and then they'd be in humanoid form for fighting purposes. Yeah.
And it would make a sound like this. I'm sorry. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Exactly right. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, the memory. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to your channel after this and start watching them.
I've got the first 3 episodes up. Like, I'll send you a link or something in the chat. I'll do that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Stanley Proctor wants to know if you have a whole garage to fit your reel-to-reels in.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah, I've got a lot of storage. For my films, I have I don't have a garage. I have a basement, and I have a storage room, and they're on shelves surrounding me. I have all of the Lee Majors Fall Guys on reel-to-reel film. That's like 5 seasons worth.
Do you have them in a temperature and moisture controlled area?
Good question. Yes, and I like to keep them. I'll show you what some look like.
Yeah. Because my concern would be, the plastic that they used to put them on. Over time, that would degrade if you don't have it in a good condition.
Here's one of the reels.
Wow.
And this box has like 2 Fall Guys in it. And there they are.
Goodness.
I have several movie projectors, and I have them piped through a receiver, so they go through like 7 speakers, really nice speakers, and I have a 65 millimeter lens. It was a military grade lens. It was actually made for the U.S. military back in 1987 in Germany that I got, and so you can project this thing pretty huge. And then if you have an anamorphic lens, you can show things in widescreen, but it has to be an anamorphic print that's thin. Sure. You ever been to the movies? You guys are older like me.
Yep.
Remember going to the movies and like the wrong lens would be on and people look really thin? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I absolutely do.
The projectionists wouldn't have the right lens on because you have to have a special lens to stretch it out so it looks anamorphic.
A lot of our viewers have heard me talking about the theater in LaGrange Park that I used to go to, and for a couple years they hadn't upgraded their projector yet. Wow, look at that. That is awesome.
And I took TV Guide ads.
So much for the $5 super chat. He says, bonjour, Netter, Troy, chat, and welcome, Chance, the Nostalgic Podblast. You are one of us.
He definitely is one of us. There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
Sweet.
But yeah, absolutely. So how did you, okay, so I can imagine how you got into collecting physical media and comics, but how did you get specifically into collecting those reel-to-reels? Those must be, I mean, those are like originally from the studios?
They're from TV stations, and some are studio prints. Like I have an unaired version of the Fall Guy pilot that was not released to the TV stations or to anybody. It was a 20th Century Fox print. It has a different version of the theme song, not sung by Lee Majors. It's the song's called The Unknown Stuntman. And it has just a studio artist performing it. And it has, get this, Janet Leigh plays Colt Seaver's boss. She did not make it to the actual series that ABC aired.
Right.
Joanne Flug played in season 1, Samantha Big Jack, who was the bail bondswoman that Colt worked for on the side in between stuntman gigs so he could pay his bills.
Right.
And then Marky Post played the the bail bondswoman in seasons 2 through 4, but I digress. But it was in the pilot, it was Janet Leigh, who was the woman in Psycho that got stabbed in the shower. Jamie Lee Curtis's mother. And of course, she was in Holiday Affair, one of my favorite Christmas movies from way back in 1947 with opposite, what's his name? Oh, I'm having a brain toot. The original Cape Fear actor. Robert Mitchum. Robert Mitchum. That's it. Robert Mitchum.
Right. There you go.
My brain cells finally fired in all thrusters there.
Yep.
So thank you, Jesse. I see in the chat he subscribed to me. Thank you. But I didn't even answer your question. Well, I went to a convention and I was a big fan of Lost in Space. And this is way back in 1989. And at the convention here in Atlanta, and they had a video room. And remember, they used to show like Star Trek bloopers on reel-to-reel film, and they would show TV shows, and they showed a Lost in Space. And at that time, USA Network was airing starting at 10 a.m. Monday through Friday, Lost in Space, and then Land of the Giants. And they were like restored from the 35 millimeter negatives, but they cut over 5 minutes out of each episode, including like the resolution to cliffhangers. It was like Batman Lost in Space.
Oh my gosh.
Years. Yeah. And so I'm and there was like a major cliffhanger in the first color episode at the end, and I never saw what happened. So anyway, I go into the room, someone's got a projector and they're showing everyone the film. I'm like, oh my God, I'll finally get to see. I go, is this uncut? And the guy's like, shh, I'm trying to show this, the projectionist. And he goes, yeah, it's the complete episode. I said, cool. And then I finally got to see the resolution of that cliffhanger, and I just fell in love with the film. I'm like, I've got to get a projector. I've got to get film reels. There was a magazine called The Big Reel, which was monthly at the time, national magazine, which had nothing but ads from people selling films. Where did they get them? They got them from TV stations. When TV stations switched over from film to videotape to show reruns, a lot of these films were discarded or people got to take them home. And so they would sell them. And so there were film conventions, which are kind of a thing of the past now. The last film convention I went to was in 2005, 20 years ago, the Western Film Fair in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I got to meet a lot of actors. I brought films that some of the actors were in and watched them with them, like Richard Anderson, who played Oscar Goldman in The $6 Million Man. I played a blind woman on film. This is right before they were released on DVD. They were somewhat rare. I watched it with him and Ed Nelson, who was a guest star in that particular episode, and Henry Darrow, who was an actor in a lot of Westerns. He did a Wonder Woman, and I played for him, the Wonder Woman he was in, sitting right next to him, and he goes, "I don't even remember doing that episode." And I drank a lot in them days. I'm like, how could you not remember working with Linda Carter? He played the
right.
And who else was in that one was Roy Rogers. It's called The Bushwhackers, season 1, the World War II era of Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And,
my goodness. That is just absolutely amazing. I gotta tell you, but yeah, you're bringing back some wild memories about those conventions. It's one of the things I talk about going to conventions. Going to conventions these days, like Netter and I are going to be going to MegaCon next week, but these kinds of big conventions are very different than the fan conventions we used to go to back in the day, where you would go and they would have all these different breakout rooms where they would be playing episodes of Star Trek or whatever. And in fact, for some of us, that was where we first saw the pilot episode of Star Trek, the Cage.
Like Troy and I were fortunate enough that he's a big Twin Peaks fan and kind of dragged me along with it. And because we used to go to the Twin Peaks festivals, we got to see some of David Lynch's little inspired vignettes that weren't released to the public.
Yeah. That's always great
because
stuff.
His daughter Jen Lynch would show up at these things all the time, and she's amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
And so we got to see all these little vignettes, and it's like no one else has seen these but us. It's like so cool.
So what have you got? We kind of. I don't know if I interrupted you or if we just changed tracks, but you were talking about your history in acting there in Atlanta and how a lot of filming is kind of moved to Atlanta. What are you seeing coming up? Do you have any projects coming up in the very near future?
I'm working on one tomorrow. I can't really talk too much about it because there's non-disclosure agreements and things. I play a police officer in a hit show, television show.
Sure.
And I'll be doing that tomorrow and then next week. And I've been on Walking Dead, which is no longer in production here. I was one of the featured walkers. Early on, I was in the first zombie school. That's going way back, but man, that was a great show to work on. Merle killed me. If anyone knows Walking Dead, if you watch episode 1.2, the second episode of season 1, you see one solo walker get shot by Merle. He's on a rooftop and he's looking through his scope and he's doing drugs, just shooting walkers. And he shoots me. And they put a squib, remote controlled. It would spurt out the blood and guts behind my head through a harness that I wore on my back. And they put like knee pads on me. And they said, now fall forward, not back, because you'll break the apparatus. And what did I do? I fell backwards. And this was shot in downtown Atlanta, Baker Street. And the director, a woman, she had a bullhorn. She goes, all eyes on him, action. And I fell back, and luckily the gizmo was not damaged. And then the next take, I did it right, and they were happy with it. But that's just one example of some fun, crazy things you can do. If you blink, you missed it, but it was kind of neat. They put like a Willem scream sound effect in post-production when I got shot. So it was kind of a trip to see that. But
that's kind of odd. I can't imagine a zombie giving a Wilhelm scream, but okay, whatever.
It was similar. It wasn't you? Yeah. Merle took me out. Merle Dixon. Yeah, what a character.
Now, when a scene like that is filmed, are you guys like, is he there when that's being filmed, or is that he's done his part and he's somewhere else now?
That's a great question. It can be shot separate days, separate weeks, separate months. In that instance, they actually were filming his stuff on top of a roof of a building while we were on the ground, shooting the stuff with me. And they actually did it with a really tall, good looking dude. I thought they're going to use his take. They did the same thing with someone else. And I thought they're not going to pick me, because when I was at zombie school, they said before it had aired, they said, this is what we're looking for. We don't want fast zombies. We want slow zombies. We want zombies. Greg Nicotero actually headed zombie school before he was a big time director. He still was big time. He started in Day of the Dead doing the effects for that movie. And he started K&B Effects. He's a special effects genius. And he actually, in the beginning, was helping out with zombie school, picking the walkers. The class would have about 30 performers, and he picked 3 or 4 per class to be featured somewhere in the show. And he picked me but my look was not right. I'm kind of short, and they really wanted tall and thin, and I'm kind of short and dumpy, but he liked my performance. And he said, so he goes, man, that's great. And I was making sounds. He goes, you don't have to worry about making the sounds. We'll cover that in post-production. But he said, now pretend it's 4 a.m. You've been in a bar drinking and you're trying to walk home. That's what we're looking for with these walkers. And they showed
that's pretty much a zombie, right?
And he said, and they played his clips of Dawn of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead. This is what we're looking for, the George Romero zombie. And he couldn't have been nicer. And I'm so thrilled watching his success as a director. I mean, he's big time. I mean, he always was, but now he's a big time director. And the guy couldn't have been nicer. So
Keebler says he just worked on Tulsa King season 2,
and everyone's telling me I got to see Tulsa King. I check it out.
Getting killed by a coin by vampire. That's
Vampire Diaries
channel.
Vampire Diaries. I can't find that. Yeah, I've got to find that clip. Yeah, well, that's a whole nother thing. Vampire Diaries. I took acting classes with the casting director's assistant, who was an actor, Bejo, and got in kind of good with them, and they used me a lot on Vampire Diaries in various episodes, just in the first, I think, 4 or 5 seasons of that show. And that shot in Covington, Georgia, primarily, or was Covington, Georgia. That goes back to the Dukes of Hazzard. The first 4 episodes of the Dukes of Hazzard were filmed before it went to Burbank, California, and then we had In the Heat of the Night, starring the great Carol O'Connor, filmed in Covington, Georgia. That's a good show from the 90s. I like Matlock, the original Matlock.
Oh, yeah.
I love Matlock. Yet. Look, I got them all on DVD. Sealed.
There you go. Yeah.
I like Matlock better than the Andy Griffith Show. That's blasphemy. I know. I'm in the South. I know people. I just love Matlock. It holds up. That's a show from the 90s I like, to answer the original question.
Although, to give some love to Andy Griffith, we just went through Christmas, and I was doing Christmas doing a bunch of Christmas movies, and in between I did the clip of from the Andy Griffith Show of them singing.
Oh, that's cool.
Nate says, Chance, I'm now a follower of your channel, and I have a question. How many shows have you worked on, and which was your favorite?
Well, I would say a movie experience. Lawless is up there, but I got to say playing Dolly Parton's son in a movie called Joyful Noise was an honor.
Wow.
I'm just in one scene at the beginning of the movie, right after the opening credits. It's a funeral scene. Chris Christopherson was my dad, and the director, Todd Graff, thought I looked a lot like Chris Christopherson in the eyes.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
So he puts me right next to Dolly Parton, and he gives me one line, amen. But it's in the beginning of that movie, Joyful Noise, and I put it on my YouTube channel, Chance Acting Demo, all one word. The clip is there, as is the clip of me tarring and feathering the bootlegger and me getting shot by Merle. There's so much more I need to add to the channel if I can find the footage. But I would say that in terms of a show, Walking Dead, hands down. In terms of TV, that was my favorite.
We've got the chat jumping so much. They're so excited. That makes me want to ask you, when you do go to conventions and so forth, you getting people asking for your autograph?
I used to. Back, there was a promoter in Tennessee who put me on the Nashville circuit and parts of Tennessee. Mark Ballard is his name. He does a lot of conventions. Yep. I just saw him recently. You're talking about intimate conventions. I went to one last Saturday, the Atlanta Comic Convention. I'm wearing one of their shirts. It's a very intimate convention, 4 times a year. It's been around since 1992. It's like the oldest comic convention in the Southeast. It's awesome. And it's one day only, 11 a.m. to 4. I sound like a commercial for it, but I love it. I go there as a buyer. But Mark Ballard put me and some of the other featured walkers up, and I couldn't believe people were paying for my autograph, like $10. Yeah. He goes, okay, you charge $10. And I said, I'm not going to charge you because you got to, because everyone else is. And it'll look funny if you don't. I said, all right. And so at the end, like of one of the shows, I just had stacks and stacks and stacks of $10, $5 bills. And someone in your chat, Kate Johnson, was also a walker on The Walking Dead. She's a friend of mine. She's also an acting buddy, and she worked in Walking Dead as well. And she did one of the conventions that I was at as well. We were there together. There she is, Kate. Yeah. And she's my friend. She's originally from Bemington, New York, and she moved to Atlanta.
Kate in that same first pilot episode or whatever?
No, she came along in season 2, the season 2 finale, and then she was in season 3, 4, I think, several parts. She came along, later. I met her on the set of a movie called The Change Up. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, this is going to sound crazy, but because of our background and what I've done a lot, I have this tendency to try to see through the makeup. and I thought that I might have been able to guess which walker she was. It's a long shot because it's an inexact science, but I'm usually pretty good about that.
Oh yeah, you're probably right on it because she was featured very prominently. Yeah, she's in there. And we just lost the actor who played Dale in real life. Unfortunately, he had the RV early on in The Walking Dead.
Yes,
anyway,
yes.
But and Scott Walker years ago, I was so sad when he passed away. He played Herschel. He had the farm in season 2 and beyond. Anyway, and he was in Cold Blood back in the 60s, based on the Truman Capote novel. He goes way back, that guy. Anyway, God rest his soul. Whew. Yeah, Kate, I met her on the set of The Change Up, which is a comedy with Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman. It's like Freaky Friday, the plot. They switch
bodies. Gosh, that's a blast too. I hadn't thought of that one in a long time. Like
Podblast?
Yeah, that's kind of a Podblast. Yeah, there you go.
And look, we try to keep this as a family show. I'm not going to say the word, but I was cast as a PORN movie producer, and she played a PORN star. And so in the comedy scene, there's a funny scene in the movie. It's just a silly R-rated comedy.
Yeah, we always have to think through, how do we say adult entertainment?
That's better. There you go. That would have been the best way to handle that one. But anyway, that's where I met.
Because most of these young ones wouldn't know if I said blue movies, right?
Yeah. So, cool. And another prominent shot of me when the CDC explodes at the end of season 1.
Yes.
They have a shot of me. Look,
Brown. Right.
I did a crucifix thing, and you see like a bird's eye shot of the heroes, the main actors, walking over me. I'm like this, and Miss Melissa McBride looks at me in between takes. She goes, "You look so good doing that." And I said, "Well, that's why they pay me the big bucks." I said, "That's why they pay me the big bucks." And she cracked up. And we shot so much stuff for the season 2 premiere that got cut because the network AMC fired the director, and they left so much on the cutting room floor. It explained what happened to Shane's Jeep, because remember, the CDC explodes at the end of season 1 of The Walking Dead,
right?
And then the beginning of season 2, you don't really see his Jeep anymore. You just see the RV. Well, that's because it runs out of gas, and we attack Shane in a scene that they cut. And I think some of it might have wound up on the Blu-ray. I think I got a picture. I made the newspaper from that moment, from that cut scene, but I'm in there. You know, to make that, there I am right there going,
there you go.
Overacting as usual.
Still a layout.
There I am.
Yeah.
I was in like the newspaper, and we're attacking Shane's Jeep because he's run out of gas and they're trying to escape. And they should have left that in, but it was.
And Clue just got here. Yes, Melissa McBride, because he's talking about The Walking Dead. He was
Melissa McBride.
He was various zombies at different times.
Yes, and Shane, the guy who plays Shane, was so nice, and he had these big dogs at the time. Like at lunch, we were at the Cobb Energy Centers. We were shooting some scenes for these particular episodes. And also one of the producers, Gail Ann Hurd's daughters, were there playing walkers. And I think it's in the supplemental section of the season 1 Walking Dead Blu-ray and DVD sets, where they interviewed me. You see me being interviewed on that. But Melissa McBride, so nice. And she was in casting. She got that big break on Walking Dead. She worked like behind the camera, helping cast people in Atlanta. And that was just a huge break for her. And she's awesome. John Bernthal, correct. The Punisher.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And Jessica Harder wants to know if there's any shows you would have liked to have been in.
Oh, anything Marvel. I'm a huge Marvel Comics collector. I've not gotten to work on any Marvel production. Now they're in England. They've just wrapped Fantastic Four. They may come back, hopefully, to Georgia, but they were filming a lot of things here. Thunderbolts wrapped here last year in 2024. Captain America, the new Captain America movie, which will be released on Valentine's Day 2025, was shot here. Marvel, anything Marvel. I'll do anything. I don't care. And I just picked up this book, speaking of Marvel, at that Atlanta Comic Convention. I love this book from November 7th, 1964. This is the scene depicted in Thor Ragnarok back in 2017. Fun fact, that movie was released on November 7th, 2018. 2017. Is it 2018? November 7th.
Right.
For a fact, this was released November 7th, 1964. So I don't know if that was on purpose, but the movie was released on November 7th. And this comic book, in which one of the scenes was depicted in that movie, was also released on November 7th, but way back.
Is that a first print?
First print. Yeah, this is a Journey to Mystery issue number 112. The first Journey to Mystery with Marvel's Thor was issue 83. So this is very early on in Marvel's Thor, who of course is a Norse god, the god of thunder. So Stan Lee didn't create Thor, but he sure did improve him along with Jack Kirby with the art.
Yeah, so, people wants to know, what was the film you played the photographer in?
Oh, I've played a photographer a couple times. I did a movie for Lifetime, the Anna Nicole story. And Martin Landau was in that. He played Marshall, the wealthy guy that she married in real life. Remember?
Right.
Anna Nicole. And I played a photographer in that. And it was a closed set scene. And I got to have lunch one-on-one with Martin Landau. You're asking what are my favorite shows of the past. Space Giants, of course, is one of them. Guilty pleasure, not so guilty pleasure. But I love Space 1999 as well, which starred Martin Landau and Barbara Bain, who had been in Mission Impossible previously. Yeah. And it's on YouTube, by the way. Shout Studios, the official YouTube channel, the streaming Space 1999 in production order 24/7. They've been doing that for months now, and I just love it. But I had lunch with him. He was there for a fitting. When I did my scenes of the photographer, Martin Landau was there for a costume fitting, and I'm just in the hallway in between takes, and this door opens, and there's this light, and I look up, and it's Martin Landau, and I go, Commander Koenig, like a fanboy. And he
I would imagine,
I go, Commander Koenig, and he smiled, and we had lunch together, just one-on-one. I got a picture with him. It's on my Facebook group, the Nostalgic Podblast. I'm going to put that on my community post on my YouTube channel too. I've not shared it there yet for YouTubers that don't do Facebook so they can see it. But he was so nice. God rest his soul. Great actor. And he's a cartoonist too. You know, he did a lot of cartoon work, Martin Landau.
I didn't know. I did not know that at all.
He could do caricatures like nobody's business. Very talented person.
Guys, he mentioned his Facebook. The link is down below in the description, as is both of his YouTube channels. Make sure you are subscribed to both of those channels.
So sweet.
His YouTube channel, the Nostalgic Podblast, is pinned to the top of the chat.
Yes.
Make it easy for you.
I am so grateful to be here and thankful for all of your help, and you're just so nice. And I tend to have diarrhea of the mouth, so shut me up. You know, cut me off if you want to get a word in.
The best guests are the ones that love to talk.
Yeah.
Because,
and our chat's loving you. So, I mean, you know.
Exactly. And it's like, we've got this thing. The whole thing about Thursday Things is that I have different YouTubers come on. We talk about you. We talk about your channel. My chat gets to know you. You get to know them. So you end up with new subscribers. They get to know your content. They suggest you to other people. Your channel grows. I don't know if you know PJ from Orville Nation, but he always says, together we grow.
Right.
And so that's just something that kind of exploded with me. It's like, I want to help other YouTubers, because at the time I started this channel, I had something like, I'm sorry, at the time I started Thursday Things, I only had like 200 or 300 subscribers. And I'm like, I want to get the word out about other YouTubers to help them grow their channels too. And, you know, so I started doing this and inviting different people on, talking about them, getting the word out. And I always go onto Twitter and share out the stream there. So then people go, oh, let me go check out this person and, you know, come. So like right now I've got a bunch of people here that had never heard of you before.
Right.
And now you're getting all these new subscribers. And I don't know what your initial number was. Usually I'll write it down, but I can't tell what it is because it's like 2.6 or something like that.
Yeah.
And
so we like to try to figure out how many subscribers we get for you in the hour that we got you. But it's a service. It's a service to the guests to help them build their channel. It's a service to our chat to get them to you know, experience a channel that if we like it, we figure they'll probably like it too, you know.
And Curtis Selby says he's 407 watch hours for monetization. Woohoo!
Yeah, so
everyone go help
everybody
out Curtis.
go turn on his channel and let it run so we can get him into the
clue. Sweet. Netter is a future hit maker.
I like to think so. Actually, she's kind of starting now. She's already kind of a hit maker.
Geek Fly with Nate. Chance you'll find that Netter and Troy are not just good people; they're the best people.
Oh, you're so good, man. Sweet. You're good, man. Thank you so much. But yeah. So so let's get back to your channel. You said you have a live stream that you do on which channel is that?
The Nostalgic Podblast. I was simul streaming it on both, but I think I'm just going to do that on Friday night. And then I'm on a panel also on Saturday night on a channel called Brainbender's Banter. And that's a big channel about puzzles. And she's got, oh my gosh, 115,000 subscribers.
Okay.
I mean,
good.
But Chrissy's her name, Northern California. Anyway, I do that Saturday night. I'm her co-host there, and that's a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, I go Friday night and I talk about stuff. I play clips. It's all about our collective growing up experiences. It caters to Gen X, but I do also dip into millennial and Gen Z nostalgia as well. But my wheelhouse is Gen X because I'm a Gen Xer.
Same here. In fact, we're going to be tomorrow night, probably when you're streaming, we'll be over on my channel. My show is Last Call, and our topic tomorrow night is growing up Gen Z. Or no, Gen X, excuse me, Gen X. My apologies.
Cool. Well, I'm not on tomorrow. I'll be on set. I'm not.
Okay.
I haven't been on. I haven't done a live show. This will be my third week, which is bad because I'm, when you're building an audience, but and people get on me, they're like, "You're not doing a show." I'm like, "I got to work. I'm sorry."
Yeah.
And I do.
Pay the bills.
Yeah. And the Unapologetic Geeks every other Sunday. That's another channel about movies and things. Sundays at 1:00 Eastern time, noon Eastern, noon Central time. Your time. Noon your time. Anyway.
Great. There we go. And I'm hoping that in the future, as you're booking more gigs, and next time you're doing a show or you're doing a film, you let us know and we can help hype it up.
Yeah, you should come on my show. Come on my show.
Oh,
Absolutely.
The next, I had to postpone. I feel bad. I'm going to have these authors on. Okay. I'm having these authors on. The official biographer of Bob Crane. You know that story? He was the star of Hogan's Heroes, and he was murdered.
Absolutely.
He was murdered in 1978.
Yes,
he's got a kind of a sword pass. There's a movie called Autofocus, which sort of distorted the truth. These ladies are setting the record straight. The author is Carol M. Ford with Linda Groundwater. They're going to be my next guest. They were supposed to be on tomorrow. I had to bump them, hated to do it, but they understood. They were nice. So that's going to be February 7th at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So I'll go. What time do you go on? So I don't interfere with you with your stream.
Don't plan around me. If people can't make it live, they can always catch up with me. I do 9 Central, 10 Eastern. I try to go. I'm just getting old. I wanted it to be late. The idea of Last Call being, a late night show as they're closing the bars, that kind of a concept. But I just realized I can't stay up as late as I used to when I was a kid. So it's,
Well, then we won't overlap because they're just going to be on for about an hour to an hour and a half. And I also interviewed, I was proud of this. I got Kenneth Johnson to be a guest, who is the creator of the Incredible Hulk TV show. He directed the pilot. He wrote the pilot.
Oh my gosh, creator of so many things. Just everything we loved at that time. Yes.
Even Short Circuit 2, the sequel. He directed the sequel to Short Circuit.
Oh, with friends like these, we'll be meeting enemas.
He created the Bionic Woman.
That's absolutely right. Yes.
Yeah. He's awesome. And he's got so much energy. He's in his 80s and you'd think he was in his 40s. I mean, he's amazing. And he's an author. He's got a new book out, Holmes Coming, like Sherlock Holmes. It's a science fiction time travel story, kind of like Time After Time, but it put a nice spin on it. And I love V. He didn't do the final battle, of course. He did the original miniseries, but yeah.
Yeah, and I felt like when it went to series, it was just mistreated by the network, unfortunately.
And I have a lot of those on film too. The show V, the series, it lasted one season. The network screwed that up. NBC put it on Friday night. That is, as you know, that is a death sentence for a science fiction show. At least in those days, when you didn't have the ability to stream it when you want. Some people had VCRs, but even then in 1984, they weren't all that common. I guess they were getting to be commonplace in households, but anyway.
Back in the early days of the internet, I created a wiki. I mean, nowadays you have Wikipedia and all these other fan wikis for all kinds of things, but I had created one for V and I was getting all the entries for the shows, the novels, the comic books, all the different characters, trying to put all of that together. And man, that was those were the days when I was a kid. Yes,
you don't need to make me big. There's the Blu-ray for V. His the Bionic Woman was finally released on Blu-ray right
Love
there.
That. Yes, yes.
He's a great writer. He has a lot of writing from the heart. You know, he has a lot of heart in the stories he tells. But
yeah, well, I mean, think about the Incredible Hulk. I mean, that one, as it was formulaic. It was about a comic book, superhero character. But man, it was a great drama. It was like a precursor to Highway to Heaven.
Yeah. I'd say I've talked to want to know if you have I, Claudius on film.
I, Claudius.
I don't. I'm sorry. I don't.
Yeah. Wow, that's
and it was like The Fugitive. If you know the old Fugitive show, I'm sure a lot of people in your audience know the Harrison Ford movie, The Fugitive, which was based on a 1960s television show, and that was kind of like the Hulk, the lonely man. You know, he was the guy being pursued by an investigative reporter, Jack McGee, instead of Lieutenant Philip Gerard on the Kimball side of it.
See, now that's making me think of The Saint.
And The Saint,
I love The Saint.
Roger Moore.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
The movie was good too in the 90s, I thought, with Val Kilmer. Did you like the movie, Netter?
I don't remember seeing it. Yeah, I may not have seen it.
The movie was not bad, from 1997, I believe. It was good.
Okay, I may have to go back and check that out because
I think you'll like it.
Okay.
He did a good job as Simon Templar.
For whatever reason, I think it was our PBS station here in the Chicago area was playing that series because they were playing it in the off season between like Doctor Who and Blake Seven and whatnot, and so it was an easy sell for the kids back then, and I kind of got into it, so I couldn't imagine it not being British, so and kind of trippy too. I mean, it's like, do
you like Elizabeth Shue? You too? Do you like her?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
She's in it too. She's in The Saint, Elizabeth Shue.
Oh, I have to check it out then. Yeah, definitely like her. April 1997. Thank you, Danny.
Danny Staten. Thank you.
And I want to be sensitive to your time because I know you're on a deadline here, but
no, I can keep going if you want to keep going, because I thought my call time would be early morning, and it's not till like 1 p.m, so I'm good.
Oh, you get to sleep in is what you're saying.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm good.
Okay.
I was afraid I got my call time earlier today, and I said that is beautiful, perfect. Not till 1 o'clock, and the set is like the studio is really close to my house. It's very close.
Oh, that's a blessing.
Yeah,
absolutely. So that actually brings me then to another question that I want to ask. I was actually leading up to it before, and then we got sidetracked. So as you have seen films starting to, moving into Atlanta, do you feel like that's a trend that's still happening? I mean, I'm hearing anecdotally about so many people that are leaving California, people in the industry, I mean, actors and whatnot, leaving and moving to New York, and it sounds like some moving to the Texas area, to Atlanta. Do you think that Atlanta might become, and now they've got the fires that they're dealing with out there, do you think maybe you're going to be seeing a lot more stuff moving down there?
I do. And of course, Vancouver's been hot for some time as well, for the very same reason, the tax incentives and the tax breaks. Yeah. But I'm hoping, specifically since I'm a Marvel nut, that Marvel will come back here, because they were filming so much stuff here. Going back to the Avengers, they filmed Endgame here. But that remains to be seen. But that's a great point about the fires, that was tragic fires. In fact, I know 2 people personally that lost their homes. And it breaks my heart.
There's more to. We talked. Our guest last week is actually a news guy out of California, and he's a big advocate for political stuff going on out there that's specific to California and whatnot. But we were talking about the fact that there was already a lot of people leaving California, but now when you've lost everything, you got to look at it and go, well, then what do I do? Do I rebuild here where it can happen again? Or do I, go somewhere else. And for some, I think it's going to be an opportunity for them to go, oh, I was thinking about leaving anyway. I think it's time to get out.
Yeah.
You know?
And here's a question for you. Are you a fan of film noir?
Yes. Yes. I like it. I like black and white. I like.
There is a film. It's actually a recent film, but it was done in the film noir setting. It's a film by a friend of ours called Trouble Is My Business.
Yeah, Tom Conkle.
Right. It is fantastic. You can, I don't know if you can stream it for free.
You can stream it for free on Tubi, but you can also stream it on his YouTube channel. I'm getting you a link right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love Double Indemnity. Yes, I love film noir.
It's very, very similar to that. Yeah.
Yeah, and even LA Confidential, 1998. Then they tried to do. I'm like, remember Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid? It was kind of like an homage.
Oh yeah.
With Rachel Ward and Steve Martin. I thought that was a cute movie. I forgot. I haven't seen that in decades. I need to check that out and see if it's as good as I remember. It's Keebler and chat. Yeah, I forgot. How could I do have a station too, Fistful of Radio. You can stream it from anywhere. Fistful of Radio at fistfulofradio.com. It's free, no app required, and my show's on there and other content, music. You might like it. Fistfulofradio.com. You can stream it. It's out of Atlanta.
Oh, thank you. Delete it as I was trying to find his channel, but there you go. That is the link to Trouble Is My Business on Tom Conkle's channel. Might want to actually reach out to him because he's a director and he's doing stuff too. So you never know when you might be able to work with him too.
And he's currently working on a film that's he's trying to get it monetized partially on Indiegogo, called Island in the Stars, and he's got some fantastic.
Yeah, we can't even talk about who he's already approached. And
Vernon Wells is one of them, and he's talked openly.
Yeah, Vernon Wells is one of the producers on it, but but they're looking to film that one out in Australia. But you never know. He's got a lot of irons in the fire, so who knows? Maybe you could end up working with him.
I would love it. Let's network and collaborate. I see a comment from Danny Staten. It's a little bit dated. Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special was over a year ago. It was like 2 years ago. That's wrapped, and so has Cobra Kai. That's wrapped as well. But I appreciate you're being really sweet.
What's the mermaid?
Yeah, the mermaid. I'm not familiar with that, but Cobra Kai is definitely wrapped. And
Danny says that,
they are filming the new Scream movie here. They're bringing Scream is filming right now in Atlanta. They're trying to revive the Scream horror movie franchise.
Folks in the chat that follow Midnight's Edge, they were literally just talking about that on Midnight's Edge After Dark. Tom, based on the casting, he thinks he knows where that storyline's going, and he doesn't seem too happy about it. But I haven't seen that far into the franchise to know what he's talking about, so I can't speak to that at all. But actually, isn't Mel Gibson going to be at...
He's going to be at MegaCon.
MegaCon, yeah. So, there you go. Cool.
But we're wondering if Tom Welling will be.
Tom Welling, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he got a DUI. He got a Dewey. Yeah, he got a Dewey.
But I'm sure he's out on bail, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, he is. So the news story that I read said that he was arrested, and then he posted bail or whatever, and he's out now. But it's like, I don't know if I was a convention owner, if I would be like,
as long as it doesn't cause many problems, they'll, and as long as he can make it, he'll be there.
And get him an Uber, whatever you
get
do.
Him an Uber, yeah. That's.
Oh yeah, you don't want to park there. It's $40 just to park for the day.
Crazy. It's crazy.
I won't pay to park.
We'll talk about crazy. We're driving down there.
Yeah,
we're gonna drive. It's gonna take us 2 days. We're gonna drive down there because I don't want to have to pay for parking.
It's a 16-hour drive. Now we've been married. It'll be 33 years in August.
Congratulations!
Thank you. So we've put up with each other for many years.
She hasn't smothered me in my sleep yet.
The longest driving stint that we've done is 8 hours, and that's going from Illinois to Ohio, and that was like really taking our time, stopping a lot along the way taking many like food breaks, restroom breaks, whatever, just taking our time because we weren't in any hurry. Usually we can do it in like 5.5 to 6 hours if we just go straight through. We're driving 16 hours. So I already mapped it out. We're going to go about 8 hours or 9, depending on how he feels driving. We're going to stop for the night, get 6-7 hours sleep, and then continue on again.
Nice. We would drive to Orlando from Atlanta all the time instead of flying to go to Disney or Universal. You know, so
but you're a little bit closer than we are.
Well, guys, what's the secret to your longevity as a couple, you think? Separate bathrooms, or is there a secret? Is there...
No. You know, people ask us that all the time. And I think the only thing that I can keep falling back on is I look at some of the problems that other people have had, and it's usually, you know, of all the sins, I think pride is the one that usually causes the most strife in relationships. And if you have enough humility to realize, for me, you know, I can't control her. I can only ever control me. And I have to realize that in this relationship, I'm the lucky one. I need to value this relationship because I don't want to screw this up, you know? And I think if both people come at the relationship from that perspective, it really does go a long way. Because, you know, it's harder to stay angry at each other if you get into a disagreement. Actually, the disagreements become fewer and farther between as a result, too.
And communication also a big thing. I can't presume that Troy is going to do something or he knows about something if I haven't asked him or told him about it. Just like he can't presume that I know something or going to take care of something if he hasn't mentioned it to me. So if he ever says, well, did you do such and such? Like, no, I didn't know I was supposed to, or you wanted me to. So he can't get mad at me if I don't know about it. You know?
Yeah, use your words. You got to tell me. And see, look at all the TikToks out there. Look at all the, you know, YouTube shorts where people are, you know, ragging on their partners. You know, I can't believe he didn't know this. Well, he didn't know this because he's not a mind reader.
Yeah.
You know, and you're putting way too much expectation. And, you know, it's the whole thing, you know, he should just know this because blah, blah, blah. That's not what he's focused on. He's a different person who has different focuses and things that are important. If it's important to you, he'll be interested if you tell him it's important to you. You know, until you do that, he does not know. And I think that's what it comes down to. And there have been a number of times where I've had to say to her, look, I'm not angry. I'm not upset. I'm not thinking anything. Trust me, this is a guy thing. Oh, okay. She lets it go. She doesn't do what so many wives that I've seen, you know, in other relationships, you know, just not getting it. It's like, just trust me. If I had a problem, I'd tell you. Or if I was upset about something, I'd tell you. If I've got resting bitch face, you know, it's just because that's who I am. That doesn't mean I'm really angry about something.
The Clue Channel, Clue Studio, they changed their name, said, I told my woman I didn't want to speak to her again. 2 hours later, I told the office was having a marathon we watched.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And that's that. But, you know, humorous as that is, there's an element of when you start to have an argument, de-escalate, say, we need to stop this conversation right now, you know, and okay, back away, go to your corner,
right?
You know, because, and it's the same, and actually this is the same advice I'd give to any of y'all when you're on, see, now you're bringing that Southern talk, you know, and I
heard it.
Well, no, my dad was from Southern Illinois.
Like, so. You getting Southern accent?
No, don't start. But it's the same thing, you folks on social media. You react to things emotionally, and you need to realize maybe before you start shooting out that tweet and getting snippy with someone, there's nothing that says you can't wait 15 minutes. Compose it in a Word document, then reread it and decide if you even want to send it at all. You know?
It's true.
If you do that, either You're going to have a lot less arguments because you're going to disengage from the randos out there that you don't even know why are you getting all worked up over. Or maybe you come up with some better zingers. Either way, take your time.
So what you're describing is mutual RESPECT. I like it. And neither one of you are bipolar, or at least you're medicated in case one of you are. So that's good.
Yeah, no, none of that kind of stuff.
Someone in the chat said the secret is drugs. They were kidding. I
mean,
I do drink on Fridays.
Yeah. There are times when he is either in a mood or something, or is doing something to get me ticked off, and I'll just walk away.
Yeah.
It's like, I
used to have to tell her that. I used to tell her, look, I'm in a mood. Just let me be. I think now she kind of knows the signs.
It's like, I'm just going to go over here now because I can't be around you, And then, it's not too much long afterwards that it's like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Now we both work from home. His office, so to speak, is literally where he's sitting right
where
now.
I'm at right now. Yeah.
He basically swivels his chair and there's his work computer.
Right.
Mine is upstairs on the main level of our house. So it's not like we're next to each other all day to like getting on each other's nerves. We're in two separate places during the work day. Mm-hmm. And then after the work day's over, I come down to the family room and we hang out and, either we're doing a show, we're guesting on somebody else's show, or if it's a night where there's nothing going on, which is rare, we're watching other YouTubers.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We don't watch much TV anymore, although you might just pull us back to watch certain shows when you appear in them, Chance.
Oh, there's something exciting coming up in July, but anyway, well, maybe if you have me back on once it's dropped, we can talk about it. I'm excited.
Yes, that's what I was leading up to. I don't know if I ever finished that thought. I get this way. I'm all over the place. Get you back on when you've done something that you want to hype up or whatever, and we could absolutely chat with you. And we'll do that either on another Thursday night with Netter, or if you have a free Friday night and a little bit extra time and you want to sit back and have I don't know if you're a drinker at all, but I
drink some beers. Sure. Okay. I'm not a teetotaler. Okay. Yeah, I'm cool.
There you go.
We could even simul stream it, maybe. Like I could link with Live StreamYard as well. Anyway, that's behind the scenes talk, but we could maybe like cross over, have a crossover.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually she's the holdout using StreamYard. I just switched over to EVMux, and I'm still trying to figure out how to be able to share with my collaborators, but I'll get it figured out by the time you want to come on.
I told him, I said, when he figures out EVMux and they can teach me how to use it so I'm not getting frustrated, then I'll switch.
Yeah.
Until then, I'm on StreamYard because I'm not paying for it.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
And quick question, because somebody mentioned it in the chat. Do you know or watch the show Inland Empire? I know nothing about it. So
yeah. So deleted scenes in the chat here, and Netter and myself and Aged Boomer, who was in the chat earlier. We have a Tuesday night stream called Live from Sparkwood and 21, talking about Twin Peaks mostly. David Lynch, gonna miss him, but his works, and he had a series for a while called Inland Empire. Do you know about it?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Inland Empire. I've not seen it yet.
Okay.
Because
Cool.
Tim Smith in the chat says, when are you going to have me on your show to talk about Inland Empire? And I asked him if he was talking to me or to you.
Actually,
and he said either.
Yeah,
you should. And Tim, you might want to hook up with Deleted Scenes, who's a few chats ahead of you.
They've already.
Okay.
Down.
Good. Because that's what I'm talking about. This is the social part of social media.
Okay, wait. Geek Flavor Nate says, my wife and I have been married 24 years, 25 in December. Amen.
Yeah, there you go.
And my father-in-law told me, in every argument, every discussion, the man must have the last word, and those words are yes dear. See, now I think the last word should be I love you.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Here's the problem with both of those, though. It depends on how.
Just so you know, there's a StreamYard glitch. I can't hear y'all. I'm gonna have to pop out and come right back on. Is that okay?
No,
just take me 1 second. It does this sometimes. Mm-hmm. I cannot hear y'all. Hang on.
Okay. So married, you were married on Christmas, Clue. Oh, that's amazing.
That's a Christmas present. That's a wonderful Christmas present.
Yeah, Boomer's still there. Yeah, we were just talking about you.
Tim, you're not our guest for tonight, so no, you're not going to be joining us. When I do a Thursday things, it's usually one guest that I'm focused on.
Yeah.
And we're focusing on the on Chance right now. If you would like to be a guest on Thursday things, DM me and we'll work out a day.
Absolutely, we'll get you. Whoop! I put them in and you take them out.
Sorry about that.
No, don't worry. It happens. It happens all the time. I have a problem with because I have the StreamYard open. I got her YouTube channel open on another tab, and for whatever reason, oftentimes I lose the chat in YouTube. It goes away.
Right? Yeah, it's weird,
and I don't know why.
I don't get it.
Because the convenience of that is being able to go to a person's channel to subscribe to them. You know, like I could go to Tim Smith's channel to subscribe to him from there. But when the chat goes away, it's like, what the heck? But in fact, I'm going to do that.
It's bizarre. Now. I don't think anyone else has the same problem I'm having with StreamYard, but it just suddenly, intermittently, I can't hear anything in the middle of an interview.
And I think a lot of the people that follow me regularly know I've got my issues with StreamYard. They just recently raised their rates above and beyond what all of their competitors are doing, and they did it to us in the middle of our subscription time. So they literally took away service from me that I had paid for. And I was so angry. I said I would actually pay more to go to their competition now, but their best competition right now actually is $100 a year cheaper and gives way better features. It's going to take me a while to learn how to use them.
Yeah, it's an Italian company that bought StreamYard spoons, and you know what? They screwed me over too. I had a lifetime discount on StreamYard from the previous owners. They didn't honor it. They gave me a slight discount. I'm convinced the Mafia is the Italian company that bought StreamYard because it's really ridiculous.
I encourage everybody that's using them, stop paying for that service. Go check out the other ones. Check out EVMux. If you are good with programs and whatnot, use oh, guys, help me out. What is the program? It's free.
Not Restream. Restream's not free. No, not that.
Oh, no. It's for making videos and mostly for gamers that are streaming their. OBS. Yes, OBS. Thank you very much, Clue. If you know how to use OBS, I don't. I am too dumb and probably too old to learn. Can't teach this dog new tricks, but if you have OBS, it really does help with
it does, but you have to put the stream key in, and it's been a while since I've used OBS, but you have to always put the stream key in when you set up the stream. That's what the thing I like about StreamYard is it's all automatic. But anyway,
yes, and EVMux is the same way, and I think I haven't actually used Restream, even though I did look into their pricing schedule. But we need to send a message to StreamYard that they effed up. They're not providing the service that some of the other ones are to merit charging more. And you definitely don't screw someone over when they're in the middle of a script shit service. I mean, yeah, we probably could have a claim on these guys, but it's just not worth it. I need to get on with doing my shows.
It's just bad business. It really is. It's bad business. And this Bending Spoons is the company that bought them, by the way, in Italy in April of 2024. I'm convinced it's the Mafia. I kid, I joke. I mean, they charge protection money, right? They want services. We're gonna
look. I'm not saying that I or my family ever knew people that were in that business. I certainly would not, but I know a thing or two.
But it's Mafia tactics. We'll just leave it at that.
Or government tactics. Either way, same difference.
Unbelievable. I'm just so glad you guys have been a married couple for 33 years. That's very impressive.
Yeah, well, August. Come August, it'll be 33 years.
Yeah,
That's
coming
amazing.
up on 33. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, Clue Channel said, or Clue Studio. Sorry, I'll get used to the new name. Says Tony Soprano owns StreamYard.
Yeah, right. I have to ask. I see you have a computer screen going in the back there. Is that some sort of a gaming
Yes,
stream there?
it's an Atari 5200.
Oh,
And it has a 2600 converter, so I have all these 2600 and 5200 games. That's countermeasure in the background. I have an 8-ball accessory for Centipede and Missile Command.
Yeah.
And it's got Jungle Hunt. And so I just keep that on in the background as visual aid. Sometimes I'll have pole position on. Here, I'll switch it to pole position.
Yeah.
Here's the cartridge set. Turn it off. There's the 5200.
That's wild. Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, Boomer and I were just a couple weeks back talking about Atari and whatnot. 2600. Yeah, Air Sea Battle.
Let me pop in pole
position. Yeah,
nice.
And
yeah, I had the 2600 myself.
It just loops like a car, simulated car race, and a car crash into a wall.
Oh, that's awesome. And and if I recall correctly, that one was controlled with the paddle.
It was on the 2600, yes. On the 5200, it's a standard joystick.
Oh, okay. Now that would take some getting used to.
Yeah, it's like I remember playing Pong on that.
My God.
The one where you got to break the bricks.
Breakout.
Yeah, Super Breakout. Breakout and Super Breakout. Correct. I love that.
Right. Well, see, Breakout was Atari 2600. I don't think Super Breakout came out on the 2600, did it?
It did, and the 52 as well.
I just didn't get it.
They did, and I love the Activision games, of course, Pitfall,
which was the first Raiders of the Lost Ark game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was awesome. The Raiders of the Lost Ark game was terrible for the 2600.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
And especially if you played it and got all the way to the end, then there's no replayability. Why would I want to play that again? Same thing with E.T. Once he got beamed up to his ship, I don't want to play this game ever again.
But remember the Easter eggs and like Adventure? The little dots? Yeah. It lets you go through walls and
show
we're showing our age.
My sidekick on Friday nights gave me this for Christmas, or maybe it was my birthday. I forget. They're right next to each other, and that has a whole bunch of 2600 and.
How do you turn it on?
I may not have charged it. It's down on the bottom. Don't. It's probably
Okay.
But it's got a bunch of 2600 games on it, a bunch of arcade games. So like Berserk is on there. The arcade version of Asteroids is on there. But anyway, it's got Adventure on there. So when I got it, that was the first one that I played. I hadn't played it in over 40 years, and I was able to get through the first one, no problem. Second one, I'm like, I'm going to have to think this through.
Duplex, that was your birthday.
It was for my birthday? Okay.
Oh.
But yes, you get the little micro dot so that you could go through walls and whatnot. You get to you use that micro dot to get through the barrier at the end of the one hallway so that you could see the creator's name. Yeah.
Yes.
I remember all
and
of
the sword. I love killing that dragon with that gold sword. But I want to give a tip to the chat. Any old schoolers that like these old gaming consoles, look up Activision Hero. It's a game called Hero. It's addictive. It still holds up to this day. Are you guys familiar with the game Hero?
I don't think so, no.
It's a heck of a lot of fun. It's a rare Activision 2600 for the Atari system game. They may have done it on ColecoVision as well, but that is such a fun game. There's a dude like on a helicopter. He has a backpack with a helicopter whirly gig thing and a gun, and he's trying to rescue people that have been captured. It's a heck of a lot of fun. A lot of levels. It gets increasingly harder, like most video games. It's a lot of fun. Hero by Activision.
There was on the Commodore, I'm pretty sure it was on Commodore, I had a game called Fort Apache, I think it was called, where you play a helicopter pilot, very similar, flying into underground caverns to rescue people.
Let me show you how old I am. My first console was in television.
Yeah. Intellivision was the competitor to Atari back in the day. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
I'll show you some of these games real quick.
Oh my gosh!
I don't know what I have here. I have 100, probably 500 of these things, but there's Air Sea Battle. Of course, Pac-Man. The 2600 Pac-Man was featured in Superman 3, getting back to Superman 3. Remember that?
Yes,
Ralph Webster's
yes.
supercomputer? You heard the sound effects?
Yes, I do remember that. That game sucked. I was so disappointed. Centipede, yeah.
Oh, Centipede, yeah. I actually got pretty good at that at one point.
You were just talking about Super
Breakout.
Yeah.
Never had that one, yeah.
I loved Jungle Hunt, the Atari version, as well.
Yeah.
It was a great step up from the 26. Cubert.
I loved Cubert.
I stuck to Cubert.
Was that an Activision game?
It's Parker Brothers.
Parker Brothers, okay. Okay, yeah. Yeah, there was all those third parties making games for them, too. Yeah,
Space Invaders.
Space Invaders. I rocked Space Invaders.
I love Space Invaders.
Can't miss Defender.
I love
yes. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Missile Command. And
love
I'll
Missile Command.
One more. Another Parker Brothers classic.
Frogger. Yes. I had that one too. Yes. I love that game.
Just to prove my case, not that you doubted me. It says
oh no, yeah. I'll tell you,
Parker Brothers.
I liked, see, that was an example of a game where, yes, the port on the home video system was different than the arcade, but I liked them both for different reasons.
Yes.
And you couldn't say that about all the ports, but in this particular case, I have very fond memories of that Frogger. I just, oh my gosh, yeah.
One of the best Christmas gifts I got was when I got the converter for the 5200 for the 2600 for my grandma in Florida. It was a great little accessory, kind of rare. And you pop that thing right in 5200 and you can play all your 2600 games on it as well.
That is absolutely just amazing.
So, and that Playboy, I want to explain that. So you guys
okay, no, yeah, go ahead.
When I did a bit on when Jimmy Carter passed away. There's a story about.
Oh my gosh! Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Patty McGuire, who married Jimmy Connors, the tennis pro, and Jimmy Carter had a thing for her, and it got into the press back then. Anyway, that's the reason I had that sitting there. I usually don't have Playboys up in the background.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned Playboy and Jimmy Carter, because back when I was in high school, I was doing a research project. It was more, as it was in high school, teaching you how to do research and looking up, periodicals and citing sources and all that kind of stuff. And the source that it was citing was an interview by Jimmy Carter in Playboy. Right. And of course, you're in high school, you can't get it. That you can get the swimsuit issue of Sports Illustrated, but you can't get Playboy. So I'm like, well, that kind of sucks. So for the longest time after I got married, I had a subscription to Playboy and kept them in boxes just like the comic books. And then I was like, for crying out loud, I'm never going to do another research paper again. I don't need these. And then there's the internet, and it's like, well, I can find whatever article I'm looking for. So.
Okay, I can give an update on something. I know that when we started the stream tonight, you were at 6.2K. You're now at 6.3K. So
I don't think we got you 1,000 subscribers, but we did put you over the.
That would be like the next 100 up. So
okay.
It was like.
Still.
Thank you. I wrote it down too. I usually write it down before I go to bed. I sound like I'm just self-absorbed with that, but I just keep track and I wrote it down. And thank you. Well, thank you to your audience. And hopefully I won't let them down. Hopefully I'll have content that they appreciate because you guys are awesome. I love your channel.
Thank you.
If you scroll down a year on Chance Acting Demo channel. Yeah, there you go. You'll be able to find clips of some of the parts Chance was in. Maybe soon he'll get back to just his stuff.
Yeah,
as it's hard to find over there. Yeah.
It's in the video tab, right? You got to scroll down. She's right. In the video tab of Chance Acting.
Well, do you also separate them by playlists?
I need to. I have not, and that would be a logical thing to do. That's great advice.
No, Age of Boomer's absolutely right. Atari versus Intellivision, the first console war. I don't think that's hyperbole. That's absolutely true.
Yes.
But yeah. Question from Tim.
You can put things up.
Oh yeah, that's right. I guess I can. I forgot. Hey, Chance, did you see the movie Relaxer, where the guy tries to beat the Pac-Man world record?
Yeah, I love it. Yes.
I think that one of these days, Age of Boomer and I are going to have to do a stream about that. The history on that is very interesting.
We're talking about V. There's a signed picture of John.
Yep.
I remember that. Richard Hurd. I love that reveal in V, the final battle. But I've interviewed some actors like Heather Thomas. Remember the pink bikini poster in the hot tub?
Yes.
She was in Fall Guy.
Yes, I had that on my wall in high school. Yes.
Well, she revealed an exclusive bit of information. You know, of course, the Farrah Fawcett poster, which was a hot seller. It sold about 6 million units.
Yes.
Her numbers are not on the internet. And her agent gave her the sales figures, and she sold about 20 million units. Like the internet tells you, the hottest selling swimsuit poster in history was Farrah Fawcett. Yes, it was a hot selling poster, but believe it or not, the Heather Thomas poster outsold Farrah.
Yeah.
According to Heather Thomas, she said it on my show. But, and I kind of believe that because there was a movie. What was the movie? Night of the Comet. Remember the scene with the projectionist? He's got the Heather Thomas poster in there.
Right.
It was everywhere in real life. Yes. I saw that poster everywhere. Anyway, enough said about that.
Yeah, no, I had it. It was on my wall behind the door. So when you opened the door to my bedroom, you didn't see it. When it closed, there she was. Yep.
Hey, Keebler, subscribe to you, Netter.
Thank you.
Oh, awesome.
And after a shout out to A Dig Outlaw. How you doing, sweetie? He's an author as well.
Yes, absolutely. And guys, if you've enjoyed me at all and I haven't been too annoying to you, my link's down below too. I've got a stream coming up tomorrow night. Love to see you all there. But yeah. And of course, I'll be even more laid back than I am now because I'll be drinking.
I'm going to catch the replay. Maybe hopefully it'll be a short day. They'll just shoot a scene or two with me and I'll be sent home, released, and then I can catch it live. If not, you got my. I'm going to look at the replay for sure because I've seen Netters. I've seen you all together. I've never seen your solo show. Shame on me. I didn't know about it till now. So I'll check it out.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, we've got a very connected community. So like you'll see Aged Boomer in the chat. Troy and Boomer do a show on Sundays called Geeky Geezers.
Yeah, that's his show over on his channel. Yeah.
And then Troy does Friday Night Last Call on Fridays.
Right.
I do Thursday things on Thursdays. Plus, I do alternate Saturdays with Big Al Presents for movie rewatches.
And so of course, Deleted Themes has all the other days.
The only day that we're not involved in somebody's stream is Wednesday.
I got to take a day off on Wednesday to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Wow. And you still find time to work full-time jobs, each of you from home on top of all that. That's amazing.
Yeah. So this it's like working a part-time job. We work full day, regular business hours, and then in the evenings we're doing this. But you're absolutely right.
Daytime is for work. Evening is for play.
That's nice. And you're so compatible. Clearly, I'm very envious. I'm very envious because my lady and I, we're not so compatible.
Yeah, I get that.
It's really sad. And it unfortunately, I can't. We're on the air, so I better just leave it at that. There's a medical reason. I'll just say that.
So you said at the top of the show, I know you said it, but I don't remember. How did you come across the channel?
It just showed up in my feed. And
Troy's or mine?
I was in the chat. No, you were when you were talking about Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, because I'm a Trekker. And that was maybe a good 2.5 months ago. And so I was commenting in the chat. And then Netter said, hey, would you like to be a guest? I can't remember what I said in chat to make you want me to be a guest, but you did make that offer.
Whenever somebody new comes into the chat, I check out their channel right away. And when
see if they're putting out content.
Yeah, looks interesting. So that's why I sent you a DM and said, hey, would you like to be on my channel? And so I'll do that. In fact, anybody that's in the chat that wants to be a guest on Thursday Things,
Yeah.
just send me a DM over on Twitter. It's Netters Network without the apostrophe in Netters, and no space between Netter and Network.
If there's something you're promoting, like a channel or...
Yeah, like Tom Conco has been on several times promoting Island and the Stars. And so it's like if you're promoting something that you really want to get out there,
you got an acting gig coming up and you want a bunch of people to show, some support. Can you imagine you go on Walking Dead and you get a whole bunch of people start watching The Walking Dead? I don't care about any of these other people, but this guy Chance, who plays zombie number 3, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, I was an extra in Red Heat, although you can't really see me in Red Heat. There's a scene in a bar where there's a TV in the back,
and
on the third dot from the left on the TV.
She's literally at a ball game that's showing on the screen.
Yeah,
her scene was cut, obviously. Yeah, Red Heat. Yeah,
Red Heat.
Wow.
And so it's like I'm there. They're having the actors were literally like 7-8 seats next to me.
So if they had kept the scene, she probably would have been, on screen. But
and I know Poltergeist 3, right behind the aunt as she goes up the escalator and then turns to the art gallery. I'm actually
on the TV edit. They once had a version where you get to hear her say a line, but
that's me in Poltergeist 3.
That's
really short.
That's better in the 80s. Yeah.
That is so cool. Oh, wow. Did they film that in Illinois?
Yeah, it was in Chicago.
They filmed it in Water Tower Place, although it was supposed to be in John Hancock Building.
The exteriors of the building were John Hancock Building. The interiors were Water Tower Place.
For the most part, yeah.
And she was literally the extra that was standing right behind Karen Allen, right?
Yeah, she was going up the escalator, and then she turns off and goes into an art gallery, which was actually Green's luggage, but they did the facade, so it looked like an art gallery. Right. And so I'm right behind her, and when she turns off, I'm going forward, because they're like, just keep going straight. And there was one version, and I only heard me say the line once, where I said, as I'm walking across the store, and I was like, oh, what cute baby clothes. So, and I only heard it once, and then every time I've seen the movie after that, it was cut.
Yeah, because there's specific edits that were released, and then of course we all know that oftentimes the TV edits are different.
Yeah,
yes, they are. They did that with Footloose, the reboot I worked on. They shot scenes specifically for the TV version, but that is so cool. I like that. I'm going to look for you now in that movie, Poltergeist 3.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. It's like the scene, the particular scene is the kids are getting ready for school. Carrie has got, what's that her name? Carol Ann is getting all dressed up in this like winter gear, but it's like warm outside, but she's like really bundled up, and they have to run to catch the ride to school. And as they're like running down the escalator and everything, you can see in the mall, like people going down the escalator, then going around a pillar and all that. So it's like, I'll sit there and go, there's me going behind the pillar. There's me again. Okay.
Because you know how it is for extras. You'll see them going one way, then you'll see them going another way, then you see them going up the escalator,
Yeah. And then when they show the aunt going up the escalator, I'm right behind her. But they actually pulled a guy out that was in that spot, because there was her, another guy, and then me, and then whoever was behind me. And they pulled him out because he decided to wear a bright yellow jacket. And they're like, no, that's too loud. And instead of just telling him to take it off, they just grabbed him, pulled him out, shoved me, and said, go.
Yeah.
Right. No time for wardrobe to come in and give you the okay. That's funny. And Chicago also is where The Fugitive, which I talked about earlier, was filmed back in '92.
I'd forgotten. That's right.
St. Patrick's Day parade in Chicago. Those scenes.
That's right. Shot. And of course, Ferris Bueller's Day Off again with the parade as well. And we've done a number of watch parties of John Hughes films, most of which were filmed in the Chicago area. So whether it was Home Alone or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, you could just go on. And I'll tell people, I know exactly where that's at, or I visited this place, or that place isn't there anymore.
Yeah, like the Blues Brothers. all those.
Oh,
different
gosh, yeah.
places they filmed.
Oh, the Blues Brothers, yeah.
I'm going,
That
I know
mall.
that area. I know that area. That
Yeah.
train doesn't go
This
that way.
place has got everything.
I'm trying to find Weird Science. Was that Chicago? That I think it was. That's my favorite of the John Hughes movies. I have that on Blu-ray somewhere sitting here. Oh well, it doesn't matter. Oh, here it is.
Most of it, unfortunately,
Weird
takes place
Science.
right in that house. So that I don't know for certain, but probably, yeah.
I think it is set in Chicago. I don't know if it was actually filmed in Chicago, but I'll go back and watch it yet again. I saw that 4 times in the theater. I loved Weird Science when I was a teenager.
And what I'll point out as we watch these things is that these places are either fictional suburbs in the Chicago area, or they are placed in places that you would not have interaction, right? They're too far apart, you know. You know what? Another one was filmed here in Chicago was the movie Backdraft.
Oh,
Remember
yeah,
that one?
Ron Howard.
And
Yeah,
there's this great scene, very exciting, where the fire truck pulls out of the station, turns right, and then turns right again, and it just barrels down that street. Well, that street is actually a dead end. So, and then suddenly, and it's all the next scene you see. It's driving down an expressway, completely on the other side of the city.
Yes.
So it's like
Yes.
anyone from Chicago is going, I don't know where this is supposed to be and why they would be answering that call. But then again, the same was true for Chicago. What was it? Chicago Fire.
Yeah, Chicago Fire.
They would do the same thing. We knew the exact firehouse that it was filmed at, but then they were all over the northern and western suburbs, which
and
was
downtown Chicago.
And downtown Chicago. It's like there's
no,
this
you
would
would be
never,
in
never
a specific
happen.
area. That's it. I mean, we got fire buddies that they're like, yeah, that's so unrealistic because it would only be a specific area that they would go to, and then after that point, a different station house would pick up and go to that fire.
One of the calls that they had in one of the episodes was an office building directly across from where Netter was working at the time, and it was a gutted place. I mean, it was completely falling apart. And so we took a look because we were able to see into the place and see, you know, the drop ceiling portions of it were hanging, and the what do you call it? The bells, you know, for the, you know, to call the different floors.
Yeah.
The board was open and whatnot. And you watch it on the show and you realize that they have shot it in such a way that all the stuff falling apart is just off scene.
Yeah.
Just off scene. They had to keep it exactly, you know.
Yeah. So it was like somebody's office and they're showing one wall that's not damaged.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You were going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say in chat, someone was there when I was in Walking Dead. Clue Studio said Marietta Street. Yeah, I was there that day. The first couple episodes of Walking Dead, I was there eating that horse too. Yep, that was in August of 2010.
So he was one of the zombies eating that horse.
I forgot I did that too. We got a good bite of that horse. Yeah, that was very interesting. Because they shut down.
You guys
it was on a Saturday.
Something?
Yeah, barbecue. But to look like
was it good barbecue?
It wasn't bad. And we were all stacked up on top of each other right there in the corner, and it was on a weekend. They shut down Baker Street and Marietta Street, and there was a tank out there. And I didn't tell you this story. One day they were filming a season 1 episode with that tank outside of what was supposed to be the CDC, and it was really the Cobb Energy Center. Well, Obama was in town. He was president at the time, and the presidential convoy is going by. It was right next to I-75, and one of the Secret Service guys saw the tank, and they thought it was like some sort of attempt. I won't say any more than that. And they shut down the set. The set got swarmed by Secret Service. They're like, no, we're shooting a TV show. Anyway, isn't that a funny story?
Goodness.
That wasn't where he's talking about, but anyway. Yeah, I ate the horse.
So wild. But I can understand that. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And Chicagoland. I love WGN. It's funny. I've talked about Space Giants being on WTCG Atlanta. You also had a station that was on cable TV. You could watch all across the country if your household had cable TV when we're growing up as Gen Xers. So I watched WGN all the time. I watched the Cubs. I watched a lot of the programs there. And then, we had Ted Turner's WTBS. And then in New York, you had WOR. Those are the 3 cities that had on basic cable, like local channels, if you will, that had cool programming. Like WR had BJ and the Bear reruns, haven't been seen since 1995. It's never been released on home video. It's not streaming anywhere with the Chimp, Greg Evigan. Huh?
I've been sharing with my audience about WGN for a while because a lot of great nostalgia there. I was telling you, yes, the Bozo show was on WGN.
Ray Rayner.
In fact, I know that Bozo they had different Bozos across the country, but the one here in Chicago, Bozo was played by Bob Bell. Uh-huh. And it was the Bob Bell version of Bozo that inspired Krusty the Clown in The Simpsons. Because he had that voice, and that's where it came from. But it was also, growing up here with WGN, their bumpers in between shows that they would, have during the holiday season, they would do little snippets of songs from the different TV show holiday episodes and sometimes from movies. Yeah. So, for example, the Lemon Drop Kid with Bob Hope, it opens up with him singing Silver Bells. And that was my first exposure to that movie, was that scene, Silver Bells, on WGN, just as this little bumper in between, what do you call it? And so that's why when I was doing my holiday movie marathon here, I was doing those bumpers to kind of be like WGN. I still have that jingle in my head. Kids in Chicago having a good time there watching Channel 9. Yeah, exactly.
Some good nostalgia.
Said, guess what? Quest for Camelot is free on YouTube. Oh,
Quest for Camelot. There you go. Absolutely. That's another one that was big with WGN, was the what was it called? Family Classics.
Oh,
with
Thomas.
Fraser Thomas, who was, of course, the
Ringmaster Ned.
Ringmaster from.
He
took over for Ringmaster Ned on Bozo. Exactly.
I have so many videotapes of GN.
Yeah, exactly. And but yeah, and well, then, you were talking radio earlier too. I was sharing that my whole idea for Last Call on Fridays spun out of a radio show we used to listen to for the drive home on Fridays. WLS AM talk radio here in Chicago. Every Friday at 5:00, they would roll out the Carnarvon wagon, and they had this, they had the talk show up to that point, and then they would go to commercial break, and then at 5:01 or whatever, they'd play the intro for the Carnarvon wagon, and the folks in the studio would talk about what drinks they were having, and a different bar would come out and host their show and serve them different drinks and whatnot. And I'm like, I love this so much. I want to keep that tradition alive. So now the Carnarvon wagon's over on my channel on Fridays on Last Call.
Very cool. I love it. And I love WGN. I have all sorts of videotapes from the 80s and 90s. Twilight Zone, I used to love to watch late at night on WGN. Yeah. And they would be from 16mm film. Oh, I just loved them. They left a little bumper in, speaking of bumpers. But now you've got Antenna TV, Me TV. The whole Weigel Media is out of Chicago. I love the Svengoolie. Right. I don't know how you feel about Svengoolie. There's a whole lot of great
thing. Yeah. Svengoolie was on. See, that's the other thing too. I didn't know if you'd know him from. Rich Coase, who plays Svengoolie.
Currently, yes. There's been several, but right. Rick
before him, he's actually played him since I was a kid, but before him was Jerry G. Bishop played the original Svengoolie. Yeah.
I can't see, so here.
Yeah, there you go.
There he is. Yeah, they have conventions.
You want to bigify me?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I can bigify you, sure, absolutely. There you go.
Big.
There we go.
So he's saying thanks for everything, because we worked security at a convention here, and this was the year after we had. Whoop! Sorry about that. There we go. This was a year after we had been at. I mentioned the Metropolis, Illinois Superman celebration. They have an auction there every year, mostly Superman stuff, but other memorabilia. And they were auctioning off some lobby cards from Universal Monster films. And they weren't getting a lot of bids on them. There you go. Absolutely. And I said,
Creature.
There you go. Oh, I have that one. Yeah.
It's a newer book. Yeah, it was out last Halloween.
Yeah. And I told Netter to put a bid in on it. And she's like, you want these? I said, yes, because I want to give them to Svengoolie when we see him in a couple months. And we won it. We won them for a fairly reasonable price because no one else.
Yeah, it was like $10 or something, $10-15.
Yeah, it was amazing that we got him as cheap as we did. Gave him to him, and he was fired up about it. And then he mentioned us on later that year when he was doing Dracula. He was doing his his bit in the middle where he's talking about the letters and stuff that he's gotten, and he mentioned us. I thought it was really, really cool. But I had been a fan going all the way back to Jerry G. Bishop, and did not, and I've told this story on my channel before, that I was a fan of Svengoolie, Jerry G. Bishop. What I did not know is that Svengoolie was played by Jerry G. Bishop. But I did go to, in my, the suburb that my high school was in. I wasn't in high school yet, but when I eventually got there, there was a little magic shop there called Bishop's Magic Shop. And I used to go in there all the time, and the proprietor would show me these magic tricks, and I'd be so intrigued. I wanted to know how they were done. He goes, well, see, that's the thing. You got to buy the trick if you want to learn how to do it. And I'm like, okay, I see. And sometimes I would buy the magic trick, learn how the magic trick was done. And this was for years. I would go in, and it was, maybe $5-10 for the trick, and I'd learn how to do it. Then he moved out to California.
Right.
And it wasn't, and that was about the time that the son of Svengoolie came in. That was Rich Coase. Right. Well, later on, I'm talking with Rich Coase at this convention, and he goes, so just recently I heard, I was told by Jerry Bishop, he said, why don't you just become Svengoolie now? I'm retired. I'm never going to take it back. Give up the son of Svengoolie. Just be Svengoolie. And I'm like, wait, Jerry G. Bishop is the one that played Svengoolie? He goes, yeah, you didn't know? And then I told him the story about how he used to buy the tricks from him. He's like, that's amazing. That is amazing. So yeah, that's my Svengoolie story. So yeah, they were local up until it went national with MeTV, but it was on 3 different channels here in Chicago. It was on, we had WPWR, which eventually became the UPN, and then I think CW here in Chicago.
WTTW.
He was on WTTW for our PBS channel.
PBS channel, yeah.
And he was also on WGN. WGN was where he was for the longest time, and then he moved to MeTV, which then became.
So he's no longer in Berwyn.
Well, I don't know. He may still be in Berwyn, but the show has now gone national. So everybody's like, "Oh, I love Svengoolie." Yeah, I've loved him since before you knew who he was.
Was Weigel Media a thing? Like, MeTV hit in my area around late 2010, 2011. Prior to that, do you remember watching anything on MeTV locally in your area in Chicago, in Chicagoland?
I'll be right back, gentlemen.
Well, actually, what happened was, you didn't have to leave the stream.
I didn't intend to do that, but that's
fine. Okay.
It still works.
That's fine. So most of the shows that are on MeTV are you saying that MeTV is owned by the Weigel Group?
Yes,
it does. That makes sense. Okay,
it is.
That makes sense.
Along with Heroes and Icons, they have a whole bunch of national digital networks.
So
that you can get through
here's the
digital rabbit
situation.
ears or on cable
Weigel
systems.
Weigel was I want to say news personality here on WGN, and he started becoming a producer and whatnot, and that's when the acquiring started. So yes, basically everything that was WGN was kind of absorbed into MeTV, but it became kind of its own entity.
So WGN's no longer around?
No,
Channel 9?
WGN Channel 9 still does exist as a local channel, but that's kind of separate now.
I haven't believe it or not, I've not cut the cord yet, even though I stream everything. I need to check and see if they're on my basic cable anymore. I have Xfinity Comcast. I'm curious if WGN Chicago's still on there. Hey, look, Danny Staten says, I'm an Elvira guy myself. When you're talking about Sven Gooley. There's Elvira. One of my fall guys with Lee Majors. I put the TV Guide ad on one of my film reels. She was in
really
two Fall
cool.
Guys.
That's really cool.
In character.
Yeah,
anyway.
I used to be a big fan. She
I heard she ticked off some fans. And
I'm just not real big on that. There've been too many celebrities lately that have decided to pick a lane and eject everyone who isn't in that specific lane anymore.
I got you.
It's like, girl, you got to where you were because of your beautiful assets, and now suddenly you think men are all evil, horrible, and you don't want them as your fans. Well, okay, right. Congratulations.
Yeah, that was what I was referring to. She allegedly made some unfavorable remarks towards men. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And
I love her though, Cassandra Peterson. She looks fantastic, by the way, to this day.
She still does, absolutely. Always has.
She looks great.
I remember her from Playboy too.
She was a Penthouse. She was a Penthouse pet, but I don't have it. I've never seen it. I just know of it. Anyway, but yeah. Maybe she did Playboy, but I know she was in Penthouse. Anyway, I read it for the articles. I'm joking. I don't. Anyway.
No, you don't read Penthouse for the articles. You read Playboy for the articles.
No, yeah, the forum,
Penthouse?
Well, the forum is just as bad as the pictorials in Penthouse.
Now, I like Bob Guccioni's Omni magazine. He had a science fiction clean magazine.
Yes.
Too.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Absolutely. I loved it. Now, that was the one thing I could get at my high school. I was able to get Omni magazine. Yeah.
I got in trouble bringing Fangoria to high school because of the gory pictures from horror movies. Fangoria is a Starlog magazine, Carrie O'Quinn, and it's the horror version of Starlog. Pre-internet, and so it had pictures from Friday the 13th Part 3D and other horror movies like The Thing, the gore shots. And I got in trouble with teachers for I'd pass it around like, let me see that magazine chance, and they're like,
it wasn't just the gore though. There was some nudity in that one too.
In Fangoria, there was. I don't remember that.
Yes, there was. Yeah,
I believe you. I do. I don't remember that. I probably didn't get that issue.
Sometimes even on the cover, but that was rare.
Really?
Usually when you got into it, there'd be and not like topless or anything like that, but sheer.
Oh, sheer. Okay.
See, and you could definitely see the details. Yeah,
I see.
So,
the headlights were on. Gotcha. I see.
It was definitely high PG, getting close to R.
See, I remember National Lampoon magazine had, topless stuff. Oh, yeah. I never brought that to school because I knew better, and I didn't have many of those. Anyway.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't know how I got on this subject. Oh, Cassandra Peterson. That's how.
Yeah, well,
Thanks, Danny Staten.
Right. Yeah, right. This is pretty much the way this show goes. We just go all over the place, especially if we have a guest that wants to go all around the world. We're happy to take that trip with you.
Absolutely.
But I'm trying to make a good first impression here, so.
I think you already have. You clearly already have. You've got some diehard friends. Griswold's wife was hot. Yes.
Who, Beverly D'Angelo?
Yeah.
In Vacation, sure. Beverly D'Angelo, absolutely. I agree. Yeah.
Speaking of the headlights. And that was the first time that I saw a scene like that, and I was pulled out of the movie and thinking about the behind the scenes, because when he pulls open that thing and she jumps, of course, the first time you watch it, you're looking at the headlights. The second time you're looking at it, you're noticing she's wearing briefs.
Right. That's a good observation. And I liked the first kids too. I liked Michael Anthony Hall and Dana Barron as
Yes.
Audrey and Rusty. And you know the story, I'm sure you do. The reason that they changed the kids for European Vacation was Michael Anthony Hall chose to do Weird Science. He had to make a choice for Mr. Hughes, John Hughes. And so they said, well, we got to replace the kid. Let's replace the girl too. And they put Dana Hill in the second movie as Audrey. And then Dana Barron returned. There was a terrible TV movie like National Lampoon's like Treasure Vacation or something. It was like an island vacation. Cousin Eddie was in it. And then the original Audrey, it was horrible. No Chevy Chase, of course. I think Vegas Vacation was the last one with the original parents, Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo. Anyway.
No, that's all good stuff. See, this is very much in your wheelhouse, talking about this stuff. Yes, deleted. I am in throwing distance. Yes, I know. But look, we're talking about the 80s. We're talking about, high school age kids getting VHSs of National Lampoons. You better believe.
Troy didn't know me when I did public access television.
That's true.
Back in the day, I was a Motorsports Unlimited girl. And our director, producer, whatever, had us wear these really tiny unitards that were red. So they kind of they remind me of those little wrestling outfits. And underneath that, we were wearing toddler-sized T-shirts. So they were very snug. And I'm surprised we actually fit into these.
Very,
I was wearing a toddler
enhancing,
2T size T-shirt. And you can very much notice our assets.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And we also had feathers in our hair, ostrich feathers that he had imported in. And the whole thing was, we're on public access television. We're talking about motorsports. So, Healy arc welding, TIG welding, all this. And they figured, okay, guys will be flipping through channels, as guys do. They'll see these girls and go, wait a minute, they're talking about motorsports? And they'd stick around.
Mm-hmm.
So they'd stop for the girls, stay for the content. It was a very sound business thing because we got lots of views just for standing there looking like basically Playboy bunnies talking about cars.
And then they'd go to the auto shows and all those kinds of things. And
Car business and women go together. I work for Auto Traders in the advertising sales for many years, 5 years or so. And some of my assistants look like they could be in the Playboy Mansion, and that was by design, by management. They knew the car guys, they go to car lots, to design ads. Don't you want a full page ad? So that's been a thing for a long time. Hey, about Chicagoland, I'm a big fan of SCTV. I think it's more inventive than Saturday Night Live ever was, even though I love Saturday Night Live in the glory days anyway. Mr. Bill. Oh no. But I liked SCTV, and that of course started in Canada, Second City Television. But there was also an arm of it in Chicago, right? Second City Television. And I just thought that was such a brilliant show. I have them all on DVD that they released. But
the improv show or
Evening at the Improv,
No, Second City.
Oh, Second City.
In Chicago.
Yeah, SCTV.
Had a lot of the stars from SCTV started out there.
Yep.
And it's like, I knew them when they were nobody.
Bill Murray might have been there.
Stars.
Yep.
Bill and Brian Doyle Murray, and I don't know about John Candy, but yeah.
Yeah, even John Candy, all of them. I remember seeing them at Second City. And it's like, okay, these are comedians just starting out because that's where they got their break. Someone spotted him and said, this guy would be great for the show, and hired him on. Next thing I know, they're on Second City TV, and it's like, I know those guys,
That is cool. That would blow my mind.
So, Chance, we got to ask you now. Keebler brought it up. Tell him about the panty liners ad.
I saw that comment, and I actually need another hint because that's not ringing any bells. Panty liners ad.
Yeah, we need more info there.
Yeah, have you done a lot of advertisements?
No, it's nothing I did.
Oh, okay.
I did a commercial for a hamburger joint, but it was nothing risque about it. I never even told that story on the air about the hamburger commercial. Well, I'm supposed to be the brand X guy you don't want to encounter at the hamburger joint to the drive-through, and I do a little improv where I'm rubbing my nose and touching the hamburgers. And the director loved it. I came up with that. I'm like, and the whole bit was it was a scene where you don't want to. I don't want to mention the product this was for, but it was for a popular fast food place, and I do this bit where I'm not picking my nose explicitly, but that was the whole bit. And the director's like, keep doing that. That's great. Oh, Jay Leno, the panty liners. Hello. Yeah. On my YouTube channel in 1995, the headlines bit that Jay Leno used to do where there's like a misprint. I sent one in that got on the air and I put on my channel. It's had over 10,000 views, but it was really funny. At the time I was in high school, I think, doing a high school job, working as a stock boy at a drugstore. It's called Big B Drugs, Big B Drugstore. Okay. Big B stand for Bruno. There was Bruno's grocery store. It's another. That was there. There's a grocery store chain called Bruno's, and then their other chain was Big B Drugstore. And I was putting little sales flyers out, and it's yellow, and there was a misprint on it that combined in a sales ad for a camera with a built-in flash and panty liners. And the ad said Big B brand panty liners with built-in flash. And you can interpret that many different ways. Like, are you being flashed or a flash like in a cave? I mean, I don't want to get too explicit here, but anyway, Jay Leno loved it and it made it on the air. And for some reason, NBC doesn't claim it. Like, I think they only care about the current Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Right, like they haven't programmed the bots to see it can destroy anything with the Jay Leno years or Johnny Carson. So I put it on my channel. I recorded it back then on VHS in 1995 and Jay Leno loved it. So thank you for reminding me. Of course, Keebler, I feel like an idiot. Yeah. Panty liners ad. That's it. Hello.
I think I'd be concerned if my panty liners were flashing.
Or they flashing the
well, Jay's joke was Big B brand panty liners with built-in flash for that full-figured gal. Whatever that means. That was his joke.
Yeah. Well, chances are he probably improvised that right on the scene.
To this moment, I never thought about the flash aspect, like flashing somebody. That's anyway. But.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's a couple ways you could definitely a couple ways that you could look at that. But
oh dear.
Anyway.
Oh wow, we have had our guest on for 2 hours.
Yeah, we got a double show out of you, my friend. We have definitely monopolized your time.
And I would definitely love to have you back on. So if Thursdays are generally open for you, I'd love to have you back on.
Sure, I'd love to. You guys have been delightful. It's been a pleasure to be on your show, on your stream.
Thank you.
We'd love to find out later on what the show was that you were doing now. After it comes out, let us, come back and let us know, and we'll know that.
Yeah, it ties into a big blockbuster movie that's coming out in 2025 in the summer. Wow. And I'll tell you more when I can, but I can't yet. But I think it's exciting. It's really cool. And, but the editor, to your point, may I call you Netter? Do you go by Netter?
Yes, Netter.
Mm-hmm. The editor can be your best friend, your worst enemy. In terms of Tulsa King season 2, editor was not kind to me. I had a shot with Sly Stallone entering a party, a wealthy, affluent party. We did several takes. I was getting praise for it. No lines or anything, just me and him walking in. I'm next to him. And it didn't wind up. I didn't watch the show yet, but I was told by someone who didn't make it in. However, the editor can be your best friend, like in Walking Dead. When, like I talked about earlier, I thought for sure they're going to use the tall, good-looking military zombie, not me getting shot by Merle. They use my take. So you just never know, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's cool that you've been on sets, Netter. I'll have to look for Poltergeist 3 and Fire. What was the other one?
Red Heat, but Red Heat, you can't see me because
you wouldn't see
on the
her.
third dot from the left on the TV screen because I cut my scene.
Because basically that scene was totally cut. But yeah, exactly.
But I was third dot from the left.
Right.
Dot from the left. I know. I want to thank your chat. Great comments, and thank you guys for inviting me. And I'll watch you. I'll watch Friday's show.
Yeah, I hope you do. We're going to be talking tomorrow night. Yeah. Well, you know what? This is a great segue because
first, let's find out what our guest has coming up.
Yeah, what's the next thing you're doing?
Saturday night, Brainbender's Banner. I'm just an ensemble. I'm her co-host on that. It gets really crazy. There's a lot of people at once. I don't like it when it's super busy anyway, but we still have a good time. And then Sunday at 1:00 on a channel called The Unapologetic Geek. And that's it. And then I'll be back to my Friday night schedule, February 7th, with the authors, the official biographers of Bob Crane, Carol M. Ford and Linda Groundwater. And by the way, Carol M. Ford, her voice was on the commentary for Night Gallery, the Blu-ray of the episode Bob Crane was in. She got to do the commentary, which is kind of cool.
Oh,
and
nice.
so I'm going to interview them on February 7th, 2025, Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So thanks. And my radio station is Fistful of Radio out of Atlanta, which you can stream anywhere in the world. Just go to fistfulofradio.com, hit the play button. My music show is Retro Music Cuts. And of course, the Nostalgic Podblast airs there Saturdays at 2 p.m. Eastern time, 1 o'clock your time, every Saturday and Sunday, and then Wednesday night and Monday night.
There you go. And then, of course, as I said earlier, down in the description below, you've got his YouTube channel, the Nostalgic Podblast. You've got his I'm sorry, what was it called? Chance
Acting demo. It's all one word. It's very confusing. Thank you for linking it. That'd be the easiest thing if anybody wants to go there. I've got like almost 1,000 subscribers there. I'm trying to boost that one up. I'm knocking on the door of the magic 1,000.
There you go.
I haven't done much there. I need to put more content on there. I think that would help. I've been all focused on the Nostalgic Podblast. But yeah, Chance Acting Demo, all one word, no spaces. Sorry.
Make sure you guys subscribe and hit that notification bell so that as he does get more content up there, you'll see it when it comes up. His Facebook is linked down below as well. Keep an eye out. I'm sure keep an eye on his community tabs. He will let you know where he's going to be and what you can see. Fistful of Radio and pockets full of TV. There you go.
We'll be in the morning. Here's a podcast on Fistful of Radio.
There you go. There you go. So then tomorrow night over on my channel, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. For last call, unless I change my mind about what I'll be drinking, I will probably be having Jameson.
And I'll be having a Nutter's Nectar, which, for those of you who don't know, is Malibu rum. And, oh, wait, I'm out of pineapple juice, so it's going to be pomegranate juice.
I can make you some orange juice. We got to concentrate.
That's true.
Anyway, but we will be talking about, for Boomer and I, Netter, you fit the age demographic too. We're going to be talking about growing up Gen X and what that was like. We've been doing a lot of nostalgic streams lately. We've been talking about certain films from certain eras. We've done episodes about the 80s and the music videos and MTV of the 80s. Tomorrow will just be in general what growing up Gen X means to us, some of our memories, and I bet there's a good number of our followers that have some things they can share. Those of you that are younger, you'll understand why we are the way we are. So that's what tomorrow night.
And they'll understand their parents better. And
probably. I
got to join you for one of those. That'll be a blast.
That would be absolutely wonderful. Let's see. Then of course, is Saturday a Big Alice?
Saturday is me, and we will be watching Fantastic Beasts.
Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. Absolutely. Yes. That's 9 Central, 10 Eastern, right here on Saturday. And actually, if you stay tuned to this channel, right here, when we're done, you will be forwarded to Deleted Scenes channel so that he can tell you all about what he's got coming up for the weekend, because he's got a whole bunch of stuff.
And he never sleeps.
With the but then again, Sunday, Age of Boomers channel, I will be co-hosting with him. It'll be the Geeky Geezers talking about the week's geek news. Again, a lot of gaming news this week. We've been saying it for a while. We've been predicting it. The gaming industry's kind of imploding, and we're going to talk about some companies that have had some major layoffs and some things that are going on, and a bunch of other stuff.
So that's Sunday. Monday,
I haven't decided what the movie's going to be yet for Monday. So
Monday night, the movies, we're going to watch something. We just don't know what yet. Tuesday, over on Sparkwood 21 on Deleted Scenes channel.
I'm not sure we're going to be able to make it Tuesday.
Oh, that's right. We won't.
We still got to talk to Deleted Scenes. Deleted Scenes and Age of Boomer for sure. Sparkwood and 21, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern over on Deleted Scenes channel. So that might also mean there might not be a Blake 7 this Tuesday.
Well, there won't be because we won't be here.
And if
We'll
there
driving.
is a stream next week, if there's going to be a Thursday Things, it's going to be live from MegaCon.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of potential guests, but we have one possibly lined up live from MegaCon, assuming
Possibly.
that
it might
things
end up
work
being
out,
something
yeah.
that I record and then release it later,
We'll
so
see.
it may not be live. But speaking of Thursday Things, if you are interested in being a guest on Thursday Things, and I'm going to put my banner for that. Where'd my banner go? There. If you want to be a guest on Thursday Things, if you have a YouTube channel you are trying to grow and you want to be a guest here, DM me on Twitter. It's at Netters Network. There's no apostrophe and there's no space. So just DM me there. Let me know that you're interested in being a guest. We'll work out what date you can come on and go from there, because together we grow.
And Nate brings up a super chat. Thank you so much for that. Okay. He says, Chance, it was a pleasure meeting you. I think he speaks for all of us.
Likewise, thank you so much. It was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do it again sometime and talk more about Chicagoland. I love Chicago.
Yeah, MegaCon. That's where I will be. I don't know if I will be streaming from there either, so I don't even want to address next week's Friday, but you guys know how I am. Yeah. I don't plan them that far in advance. So
I mean, basically, we're not going to be able to stream Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
We don't know what kind of internet connection we're going to have. So yeah, we're flying by the seat of our pants here. But
yeah, I mean, we're not even back into town until sometime on Monday. So he's probably not going to be doing a Monday night movie stream next Monday either. We'll probably be picking things back up next Tuesday.
Yep.
Or I mean, sorry, the Tuesday after, so the 11th.
So
or 12th.
That's it for 11th, me. 11th. I'm done.
Yes. So I do want to thank our guests for being here. Stick around and we'll talk more in the green room. But for the rest of you, thank you so much for being here. And of course, you all know what I always say. We can talk amongst ourselves, and that's all well good and fun. But it's so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat and you're dropping the comments, questions, trivia, being goofy, whatever it may be. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by miles or continents in some cases. It feels like we're all hanging out in the same room, enjoying each other's company and having a great time. And you guys, you know you're not just our friends. You are our family. We love you guys, and we appreciate you so very much. I mean, you could be anywhere right now, and you're here, and that's so encouraging. And I love seeing you guys in each of our streams. And I'm going to miss you over the next week that we're out, because I really love seeing you guys.
But if you're at MegaCon, keep an eye out for us. We'd love to see you.
Exactly. If you're at MegaCon, try and find us. But thank you again also for the many, many ways that you guys support us, our channels, our guests. For all of you that sub to our guests, thank you. For Nate giving the super chats and super stickers, thank you so much. You are the sponsor of tonight's show.
Yep. Absolutely.
But you guys are just so encouraging. You are AWESMOE, and I'll explain what that means. Well, actually, we do have a lot of new people here, so let me explain AWESMOE. For those of you who don't know, it is a word that came about because we found out that one of the wives for our church group didn't know how to spell. We were doing the cheer AWESOME. You're awesome. Only when she did it, she said AWESMOE. And we're like, AWESMOE? So we decided AWESMOE is better than awesome. So you guys are AWESMOE, and we appreciate you so very much.
So unique.
And until next